much did you save in those first 2 races here when we head into the pre-final? And then you have a couple of different strategies. Let's walk a little further back here, Hunter. When we work our way back with the first driver on new set of tires here in this pre-final. Brent Cruz, a slick set of tires. And again, you are allowed to do that, so we'll see what we can do. Keep an eye on Brent. Keep an eye on a couple of others further back in the field as well on slicks.
Great note, Caleb. And along with that, another big note, the pre-final is a reset of the starting grid from yesterday as the drivers hit the racetrack for Pro Shifter. The way they qualified is how they lined up for heats 1 and 2. However, the way they will start the pre-final is emerge with the qualifying sessions acting as the tiebreaker. The Magic Man didn't have to use that though. Heat 1 winner and a P2 in heat number 2 puts him on the pole, and a driver he's lined up alongside on the grid many times over the years, the big guy, Danny Formal, will join him for row number 1.
Row number 2, Andrew Bledsoe will start in 3rd. Josh Conker looking to find his way from the 4th spot, looking to conquer forward.
Jay Irwin leads the championship, but only by a little bit. He'll start from the inside of row 3 alongside GFC's Kyle Wick, who is still trying to play spoiler with an outside shot.
Michael Avancino starts in row number 4 on the inside. Billy Musgrave talked about his new chassis yesterday, feeling comfortable about the development there. Will start in 8th like his car number.
Musgrave lost a couple points, finishing behind Irwin in the heats. He starts again just ahead now of Jacob Gulick and Rookie of the Year leader Aiden Rudolph to complete your top 10.
11th spot goes to Gavin Bailiff today. Gavin Bailiff looks speedy. Mateus Morgado looking to recover from what was a bad day to start, but a great day in the 2nd heat.
Vincenzo Saraceno and Corentin Russo will make up row number 4. As mentioned, Brent Cruz, keep your eye on the CRG, Leading Edge Motorsports CRG back there rolling from 15th. Ian Quinn, Annie Rule, Eli Fox, Diego Ardiles makes his Pro Shifter debut. He'll start middle of the field in 19th. And then Justin White completes the first 10 rows here on your starting grid. 44 Pro Shifters. It is a massive, massive field here this weekend. Let's take a look at some of the next starters here. CJ Bowman, Heartthrob, what a fantastic drive he's already put together in July. He'll have to do something similar here today against an even bigger grid from 21st amongst them all. And starting at the very tail end of your field, following a DQ yesterday, Adrian Renedin disqualified from the entire day. And not only is that a massive blow to his hopes of being able to bring Velocity Racing Sodi a main event win on what was tracking for a very good weekend. He was black flagged in heat 2. Issues in communication, went to the race director, was then excluded for the day. Now, the number 12 has to roll from dead last in the pre-final. Where he finishes here is where he'll start the main. And as he rolls into that 44th grid spot, we're ready. Pro Shifter, Heat 2, Heat 1. They've set us up. It's time for the pre-final. From Newcastle, we're green. One driver stalled further back. AJ Myers with the whole shot already out of turn number 1. And away we go here, underway for the pre-final.
It was Ardiles that might have been that driver that stalled and waved his hand saying, I've got an issue on the grid. Already though, Myers trying to hold off the inside as they work their way up through 4, 5, and 6. Send to the inside for Mal. Now Conker trying to get the elbows out. Couldn't get the clear though. Russo slides on through. Here comes Jay Irwin with the run.
Andrew Boyd has shown now Jay Irwin and Josh Conker banging tires. Remember, Conker still has a good shot at the title, but the driver that's in command this weekend's Myers is Gavin Bailiff goes off top of the screen. The TKG Bureau Art having to go in the grass as now Irwin covers from Conker and puts a cart again between him and Billy Musgrave. Josh Conker, Billy Musgrave, those two have a technical alliance with Carblo's Racing Engines. They've traded a lot of intel and data over the season. They've played nice together, but it's a lot different when the championship's on the line, and Musgrave's also got to worry about the hungry frenzy behind him with Kyle Wick bearing down in the number 4. He'll have a big run on Musgrave down the back straight, and as they go down to finish the lap, no move yet. Myers leads at the end of lap 1.
All right, some signals now being popped up. Morgado letting on by Gulick with the hand signals. Something happening there for a split second with the gearing. the rest of the field shuffles its way on through.
Brent Cruz already up to 12th on Morgado's tail as now Morgado goes back by Gulick. He waved him through, now went back on him. Here's Brent Cruz taking advantage of the new rubber to the inside, and a big issue further back. Potential red flag looming here. We'll wait to see for the officials. There was a crash at the beginning of this lap further in the field. Myers still, though, with the big lead. It's then Formal and a little gap to Boydishow, trying to get an idea of the carts involved. One of them, Vaughn Beasley, a couple of magic carts collected as well. Might have been, well, we'll have to go back and confirm. I think a little further back than some of the ones that are still showing on the pylon. I don't know if they got around to it. We stay green for the moment, though. Conker closing in back on Irwin, pulling from Musgrave. Boydishow and Formal up the road in second and third.
Yeah, so far no signal of anything yet as the rest of the field rumbles its way on through right now. Myers growing the gap, and we know the Magic Man just seems to have a lot of speed here in general. It's a different track than past years, but it seems here, it just seems he's got the confidence that fits his driving style. What we've seen. Jay Irwin, meanwhile, yesterday in the press conference, when asked what would it feel like to be a champion, said quite simply that he felt like he's going to end up as it.
Oh.
You see him having some contact with Conker again. Conker trying to make a send yet again, that time through turn 7.
Here we go, Irwin again covering low. Look at the gap on the bottom right corner. AJ Myers closing up here to the back of Jay Irwin's championship lead. He entered 71 marks back. He's now got it down to half that if they run, finish as they run. But Irwin, he has been struggling for speed here, especially as these sessions have burned on with that primary set of rubber. They know they've got the new set of tires coming later today, but they're all stacking up behind him. He's still got to make this one last for another few laps. And unfortunately for Josh Conker, he's got Musgrave bearing down. Billy trying to back him up and give Josh the opportunity to get around Irwin, but he's not going to have a lot of time. Look at Brent Cruz sending it. Kyle Wick through. Conker through on Irwin. He brings Musgrave. Here's Kyle Wick. Contact. Points leader is wide. Jay Irwin's going to fall back 2, 3, 4, 5 spots as Morgado feeds him a wheel.
Yeah, not going to be happy there as he ends up getting shuffled all the way back. Lots of points being lost on the table. Couple more drivers getting slippery sliding. Bailiff. One cart over Bailiff.
Justin White up and over the left side of Gavin Bailiff. Both continue. Saraceno now ahead of him as Eli Fox sends it down the inside. Not there. 3 wide. Jay Irwin trying to get back up as he gets around Russo. Here's Jacob Gulick now. Bumper to the 6. He'll get him out of shape, and Gulick now pulls alongside as they drag race to the shark fin.
Everybody getting the elbows out now. Elbows Irwin over the back end of Gulick's machine. Out of contact there.
Irwin into the grass. Russo by. All out of shape for Jay Irwin. Now Michael Avancino right behind, and Aiden Rudolph as well. The CRG's ready to attack as Irwin's vulnerable again. Still trying to clean the tires off. This time by. 4 down. Still a long way to go as Jay Irwin continues to try and just hang on. At this point, he's watching points evaporate from the championship lead. No grip right now for the number 6, continuing to fade, and Avancino now is going to try and send it as we go back up towards the front. Musgrave now ahead of Conker as those two start to charge towards the leaders. They're 2 seconds away. AJ Myers now, as they run, takes over the points lead. Irwin now 7 back. Musgrave 12 back. This could be an all-out, head-even, winner-take-all final if it doesn't get any worse for Jay Irwin, but it might.
Yeah, he needs to find a way to get back in a rhythm and quickly right now with how things are going. Currently has a choo-choo train forming up. Kyle Wick right behind him at the moment. But what a drive as well for Brent Cruz, who's doing essentially triple duty this weekend with ARCA and the Truck Series here this weekend, able to get up to 7 as well. Lots of drivers just trying to move their way ahead in amongst this as here we go. More bleeding now for Irwin. Another driver making a pass in Kyle Wick.
The 4 plate gets by. Avancino still trapped behind him. Can't find a gap. Irwin just trying to hang on. This is heartbreaking to watch right now. Jay Irwin, just no pace. Struggling on the used rubber. Here's Avancino ascending to 4. Irwin slams the door shut. And Michael Avancino, knowing what's on the line, cut him a major break there, but he can only do that for so long before his day could potentially get ruined. Aiden Rudolph trying to give Avancino time as well. Irwin now slipping back. Brent Cruz on the move, taking advantage of the rubber advantage that he's got as Irwin sends it nearly into the side of Wick there. Big moment still. He can't afford to lose anymore, but you don't want to go in and around sideways for Jay Irwin. Still, this is okay where he's at. If there's a crash or a penalty and he goes back further and loses more points and has to fight from further back in the final, that could be catastrophe for the New Zealander.
Yeah, still right now, Avancino's been his worst enemy in terms of your contact, in terms of some of the sends. Avancino, I think right now might be actually quicker than him yet again. Close to him, going through 1 and 2. All of this as well up front. Billy Musgrave has made some more moves, and it looks like Brent Cruz is rolling.
Brent Cruz already now up to the back of Musgrave. Mind you, again, everyone else, the majority of the field, sticking with the usual tire strategy of used rubber all the way through the pre-final and using their second set to deploy in the main. Morgado down the inside now of Conker. That's also big in the title fight. Remember, Mateus thought his championship hopes were dashed yesterday. He's not out of it yet, but it will be tougher. Also, keep in mind AJ Myers! AJ Myers has a problem. The leader with the mechanical failure. He had a second plus on Andrew Boydeshow, and as he hunches over, reality sets in. The adrenaline wears off, and it was all going to plan. He had just taken over the championship lead. AJ Myers from hero to zero in the pre-final.
Absolutely stunning. This has been his track for so long, and now this is championship toast. Shaking his head, he knows it could have been his, but now it's absolute agony.
How much heartbreak can the Magic Kart squad stand? Vegas has robbed them with so many years. He's had so much speed, and now with the best shot it looked like to put them on the top step of the Pro Tour, he's out. Meanwhile, for the lead, it's Formal and Boydeshow, his teammate, and for third, Billy Musgrave's trying to keep the field at bay. Musgrave now inherits the points lead. Irwin is getting some new life now with Myers out, back to 2 points away, and Josh Conker moves up to third as the positions change. Here's Morgado looking back on Cruz. That tire advantage is starting to go away, and with 5 laps to go, Brent Cruz loses out. Morgado gets by for fourth. Here's Conker feeding Cruz a wheel, side by side for fifth.
One in that spot, getting the elbows out yet again. Right now, Conker pressurizing Cruz. Cruz knowing he has to go in full defensive mode with that tire difference compared to some of the others we've seen. Trying to run white lining to try and make sure there's no pokes for Conker around this racetrack as they work their way through turn 8. Conker looking to rewind things as Myers has found his way to the tech shed.
All of this again behind the leader. The championship's so important, but Danny Formal has no thoughts about it, and neither does Andrew Boydeshow as we look. And it's a broken brake line, it appears, for AJ Myers. And the loss of stopping power takes him out. Quarantine Russo wants redemption on Josh Conker from robbing him of that Cincinnati win. And now Russo gets by him and puts Conker further back. That'll swing the points as well. Morgado now picks up a little bit on Conker with that move, and Conker slips further back from Musgrave, who now commands the lead as we get closer to the main. Formal still showing the way over Boydeshow here out front. 3 to go. Danny Formal back at Texas, fastest on Friday, and now flipping the script from a weekend that should have been dominant to the weekend that saw him into the shadow realm in the middle. He's setting himself up for maybe a pole in the main if he can hang on over Boydeshow, and behind Morgado got by Musgrave for third as well. That'll swap the points, and it would put Irwin back to the lead. Morgado maybe up to third in the championship. Let's go to Caleb here with a report on AJ Myers.
Yeah, Xander, as suspected, brake failure for AJ. Unfortunately, chose not to comment at this time.
And what does that do for Andrew Boydeshow as we see the Magic Man walking away, frustrated, heartbroken, disappointed, list it all, and you can only imagine the emotions and what the toll of this year and the past couple of years have been with so many close calls. He still has yet to get a main win on 2025's calendar. And now, Danny Formal to Andrew Boydeshow. Avancino is out. Michael Avancino in the 24.
Way off in Narnia as the points continue to shuffle here with Morgado ahead of Musgrave. Jay Irwin 1 point ahead. And what a weekend. Here's the send for the lead.
Boydeshow to the point. Formal right behind here. Lap and a half to go in the pre-final. Here comes Mateus Morgado in classic Morgado fashion, turning up late. He's found the pace. He's now the highest runner of the top 5 in the point standings. And what does that do to the cut line as well with Avancino out? Justin White now only 19.5 back. Renaden with new life from yesterday's DQ. Gulick on the bubble. Morgado, a lap to go, lining up for third. He thought his weekend was over with the DNF in heat number 1. Now up 9 spots in the pre-final. Fastest man on the circuit. And as they go now with the white flag, Mateus Morgado has a chance to reclaim the honor, to reset the history books of how close he got to a record last year. 35 spots up for one driver in particular. Adrian Renaden is digging. 44th up to 9th. What a run for the number 12. And the Velocity Sodi now has a shot. If he can start in the first couple rows in the main, well, Renaden's going to be a factor in this feature.
Absolutely stunning run, to say the very least, from Renaden, from basically dead last. But the race lead, Boydeshow trying to make sure he keeps the margin right. Formal needs a big run to have a chance. Don't think he's anywhere close enough for the straightaway at this point. He needed to be 2 kart lengths closer.
Yeah, not enough. Formal's going to have to ride here. He'll get the clean side of the track. But the pre-final win, it's a bittersweet pre-final for Magic, but it's all sweet for Andrew Boydeshow, who wins the pre-final in PSL Pro Shifter. Andrew Boydeshow in the number 78. Wild Thing himself wins out from third on the grid. And holy moly, what a shakeup in the point standings. What a shakeup in the grid. Jay Irwin survives the onslaught to still escape this pre-final with the points lead off the back of a mechanical failure for AJ Myers and his teammate Mateus Morgado stealing some points away from Billy Musgrave by getting third late in the going. Quarantine Russo ends up behind Musgrave to complete your top 5. Brent Cruz maximizing the tire advantage to 6. Josh Conker, Jacob Gulick, Adrian Renaden, unreal. 35 spots up from 44th to 9th. Kyle Wick, Rudolph, Irwin survives to finish 12th. Saraceno, Annie Rule with a solid run. Charlie Steins for the Indiana-based GP Kart crew, 15th. And as we look back through the rest of the results here in the pre-final, some of the notable names going up or down. Justin White, the craziness there with Gavin Bailiff. He still survives to 16th. Michael Avancino, the first of many DNFs in this session. He ends up 32nd. AJ Myers, 33rd, if it all holds with no other adjustments. But this is now the adjusted championship standings. Jay Irwin, 765 points, a 3-point lead provisionally heading into the main event over Billy Musgrave. This will be a head-to-head fight between the two. Josh Conker still with a chance, 47 back. Morgado, 57 back. And AJ Myers, all that hard work, now with a tough spot to start from deep in the field, 79 markers away. He'll need a lot of dominoes to fall to still walk away with this title. And again, this is only the top 10. Quarantine Russo on that session, leapfrogging into the Circle of Champions Fund for that. Jacob Gulick on the bubble. Justin White picking up positions there, moves up to 11th. And after getting DQ'd and losing all points from Saturday, Adrian Renaden with an unreal drive to 9th. Now leapfrogs a number of drivers on track of where he'll start the main, where there's 200 points up for grabs, is still only 40.5 back from that Circle of Champions fund of $1,000 and up in cash and the full $4,000 entry and tires package for the 2026 Pro Tour. Michael Avancino was in the top 10 there. The DNF drops him to 13th. Aiden Rudolph further back in 14th. That Rookie of the Year battle heating up as well between himself and Gage Korn, back for 14th and 15th, and Philip Niemkiewicz 16th there in the number 10. Major changes, major shakeups, and that was just our first race of the day. What a session, Justin.
What a session, absolutely, especially with the Myers situation. But now it's going to be the matter of who's going to be able to come away with the championship. Billy Musgrave had a brand new chassis that he's been working so hard in development for, to be able to try and get the team to be able to compete with the best in terms of the manufacturer side, or will it be Jay Irwin, who's got some speed? I believe Caleb is standing by.
Yeah, what a race that we just saw. Almost all of us having to catch our breaths. Billy, I know you're definitely going to have to catch your breath after that one. Hunter, I'm going to bring you a step forward, let carts clear out, but championship gets a lot closer. After that one, Jay got shuffled way back. Talk about that race from your seat. Look hectic.
Yeah, super hectic. Just trying to be smart off the bat. I mean, I was being real patient with Josh. He was trying to be patient with Jay, and Jay's tires were not looking good after that second heat yesterday. So, after about 2 laps, he already started defending pretty bad. So yeah, I was kind of waiting for Josh to make the move. Kind of maybe let him take some of the risk, and he tried a couple times, and Jay kept closing him off. So I kind of had to be patient while keeping the guys behind me off. Luckily, he was able to do a move in turn 3 and get by. And then I was able to sneak by Josh into turn 5. So from there, we just drove. Felt like I had pretty good pace through the middle. I think we were still a little bit too low on pressure. Car started feeling good at the end. Then I started making some mistakes, trying different lines, trying some other stuff. Obviously, Mateus came through the pack. He's quick, a little bit fresher tires than the rest of us. But yeah, I mean, like I said yesterday, anything can happen. And Sunday is Sunday, and this place does weird stuff.
And I mean, I take you back through the weekend, right? It's been almost a roller coaster. You missed Super Pole, new chassis for you, and you've been saying all weekend, right? I'm waiting for the track to come in. I'm waiting for the track, and it almost seemed like you were saving your stuff as well. We were talking on grid. How in the heat races, heat 1, heat 2, how critical was it for you to save your equipment almost?
Yeah, I mean, when you're in the pack like that, I mean, we missed Super Pole by like less than a tenth. So it looked worse than it really was. A little bit better driving, maybe a little bit higher in air pressure. We would have been there. So yeah, I mean, I knew the pack is close. For when you come from 6th to 16th, it's tight. So my strategy was really just survival yesterday, take care of the tires when I could. Like we set the car up and geared the car for the straightaway to make moves, and we knew the field was going to stack up on the infield. So now that we're at the front, I got to make some changes. It was finally nice to get some good clean air out there, get some good laps by myself, feel out the car over a longer run. So now I can make probably just 2 little small changes for the main event. Like I said, I think we're going to be in the game.
And I got to ask you, right, looking back at 2023, it was close, that first championship for American made. How much would it mean for you and your entire program to get it done here this weekend?
More than I could probably even put into words. I mean, you look at this field in 2025, like AJ was saying yesterday, I mean, this is probably the most stacked professional shifter kart field, I would say, in North American karting history, bar none. I mean, the field is absolutely stacked, 15, 20 drivers deep. And even the guys in 30th, 40th place are only, half a second, 6, 7, 8 tenths off. So, there's no room for error, and you just got to be perfect. So to be able to pull something off, in this field, in this year where it's been wildly different every single time we go to a track, you can just see the window of operation is getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And, you see guys that you wouldn't expect at the front in some races and guys that should be at the front, struggling. So, and unfortunately for us, that was us yesterday, but we're making up for it today, and I think everything's kind of coming to plan.
Best of luck, Billy.
Thank you, guys.
Great to hear from Billy Musgrave, the All-American badass, now on the command of the championship, if he's able to be just ahead of Jay Irwin. Just a couple of points markers, again, separate the two. A lot could change as everything goes to post-session review and tech. But again, as we showed on screen, quite a bit of movement up and down from AJ Myers, all doing, all looking good, doing everything right, and tracking to end up as the points later. And then, of course, the cut line changing as well. But for AJ to go from having what could have been a sizable advantage potentially into the pre-final. Then look at this again. Michael Avancino, the DNF, dropping him outside the top 10. And then moving on to the main event from a rough spot further back in the field, and a rough spot now on the outside of that cut line. So craziness here in Pro Shifter in the pre-final. Jay Irwin survives through all of it to maintain this string of consistency. He has yet to top the boards in any official session in the 2025 SKUSA Pro Tour, and now only one remains, and yet he still is your points leader. Podiums, top 5s, top 10s, and there a 12th, still enough to hold on over, as Billy mentioned, the most stacked field arguably in North American karting history for a season-long title fight, and it's only going to get tougher from there. We've still got, again, a full palette of racing ready for you. KA Junior starting to make their way out onto the grid now as the first of the doubleheader pre-finals are getting set to go green. What a day. What a start to it all, though. That's a high bar that has been set.
Yeah, especially with some phenomenal racing, some phenomenal storylines to keep an eye on here today as well. Now it's going to be for these drivers. Can they stay at that level of expectation with intense fighting? We'll see what happens here today, because there's a lot of intrigue, I think, with this next race, because with KA 100 Junior, qualifying was very much mucked about, so to speak, if the racing's there, because of all the chaos in the fast kart group, so to speak, from the practice, from the hot lap sessions. It's going to be a lot of people that we normally wouldn't have seen in the front from yesterday or for much of the season who are going to get the chance to be in the top 5 here to start off, in the top 10.
Yeah, how about that, Justin? Let's take a look at it, right? With qualifying in the books, K100 Junior, when you factor drops in, and again, Alexander Vanchev, the only one with a half-decent drop, which means he can only improve so much, enters the weekend with a hefty margin. But, hey, he'll have to start 45th as the grid begins to populate. But we'll get to that. Let's go to the other half of this title fight that's starting to become a one-on-one slugfest with a few outsiders. Jay Irwin keeps the points lead just by a little. He's with Caleb.
Yeah, thank you, Xander. I don't know if you knew, but you're still in the points lead heading into the main event later on today. Talk about that race. It seemed like you could really never get the grip down.
Yeah, you know, I think after yesterday and those 2 heats, our tires were in a pretty bad condition, and we knew that going in. So I didn't know I was still in the points lead, but I'm quite happy about that. Is it close? Very
close. I believe, if I can get correction, I think 6 points. 3 or 4 around there, just getting into 3 points in between yourself and Billy Musgrave heading into the main event later on today. But even then, still super close. I know that's on your mind, but I got to talk about the main event a little bit, right? You're going to start further back, new set of tires for you guys. How are you guys feeling? How's the package been so far this weekend?
Yeah, you know, the chassis and that, like the material in that race was a lot better than in the heats. It was just our tires were already pretty destroyed. So I think with a new tire, it'll be a lot better than what just happened then. So I think I'm still quite confident going into the final that I can, even though I am starting further back, make a lot of positions and move forward.
And as well, we're on the topic of material, right? Longer races this year and a different racetrack as well with a new layout you haven't ever driven. How important is the long run pace around Newcastle here?
Yeah, no, it's really important here. A lot of people struggle to manage the race and, you know, keep the longevity. But I think as a team and as a chassis, we've been able to do pretty well at that in past. So yeah, we'll just have to see with this new layout if there's anything different. But yeah, we'll just have to see. I'm still looking forward to it though.
I asked your dad yesterday about the travel and all the hard work that's gone into, you know, putting on a championship berth here this year. How are you feeling heading into the main event later on today?
Yeah, you know, like I said, I think with the new tire we'll still be very good. So I'm still completely confident going into this that I think that we can make it happen.
There you go, Jay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All the way up.
up to the finish line. Who is it going to be? And it's Charles Perez who wins in Crescent.
Ty Fisher wins $1,000 in K100 Junior.
Alex Stanfield played it perfectly here, told him to wait. Stanfield wins the Duffy in 2024 for TV Kart.
Amarillo Kart Complex is now the official distributor for TV Kart in the continental U.S. Become a dealer today.
Champions aren't just born on the kart track. At SimShop, we deliver professional-grade simulators with the best performance-to-price ratio in the industry. Founded by racers who understand what you need, our SimMagic and Moza equipment is powerful enough for the pros, yet affordable for everyone. With unmatched customer support and a thriving community, we're your racing partner. Visit simshop.com today.
Let's go race.
Come on, man.
Florida Kart Racers, you asked for it and we're going to bring it. Introducing Florida Karting Championship, FLKC, a brand new racing series coming to Florida in 2026.
Hey, what's up, Caleb?
What's up, Brandon?
You sound defeated. A long day at the office?
Yeah, got stuck at a cat food marketing meeting for like 3 hours. I don't know a thing about cat food, and I don't even work in marketing. And then I got sent on a coffee run like I was some sort of intern. Then at the end of the day, when I want to go get gas, I just realized everything is so darn expensive nowadays, man.
Yeah, you got that right.
Like, do you have any idea how much we're spending on Netflix?
That's like $20 a month.
Do you know how much we're spending on cable?
That's like $50 a month.
And you know what isn't expensive?
Tell me.
Kart Chaser Premium. For only $9.99 a month, you can watch all of the American karting action live from coast to coast. Subscribe and become a member today.
Paulie Massimino wins in KA. Paulie Massimino is a winner in OKN Stars.
Take your driving to the next level with one-on-one coaching from 2024 OKN Stars champion Paulie Massimino. Kart rental options are available if you'd like to keep yours at home, and drivers in all classes are welcome, from Briggs 206 to Mini to K100 and X30. With in-depth data analysis, onboard video footage review, and lead follow on-track sessions, each private coaching session will see you end as a more complete driver than when you started. Book your coaching session now.
This is Henry. Henry feels sad. Henry feels sad because it's time for his next big race and his go-kart is in bits. Henry doesn't know that Acceleration Kart Racing is the United States' #1 shop for all of your karting equipment needs. Henry also doesn't know that Acceleration Kart Racing can deliver anything from tires to race suits and even wheels directly to your front door or to the racetrack itself quickly and efficiently, with tech support available 6 days a week. Poor Henry doesn't even know that Acceleration Kart Racing offers free shipping to mainland USA on selected product if you spend $200 or more. Do yourself a favor. Go to accelerationkarting.com and make sure that you are never left stuck on the pre-grid with Henry. Be smart and don't be like Henry.
Attention Superkarts USA drivers. Be sure to order your complete photo package from On Track Promotions.
All drivers receive a minimum of 40 photos from throughout Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with instant access from our automated delivery system. Visit otp.ca right now to get instant access to your photos.
Hey, Kart Chasers here in Indianapolis this weekend for the SKUSA race, and got Ryan Norberg here at a very special place to my heart, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Museum. Ryan, this is a cool place. Have you been in here before?
Never. Actually, this is the first time. I've driven the track. It's like back in 2016, the road course for like a USF test. But I'm excited to come to the museum. I've never done this before, and yeah, I'm just interested to see what it's about.
Well, I've never been a tour guide before, so there's a first time for everything. Let's go inside.
Sounds good.
Okay, Ryan, this is one of the more special aspects of the museum. This is the start line experience. This elicits tears from a lot of people. You might see crying in here, and I might cry. I don't know. So we're gonna have to see, but I think you're gonna really like this. I think this is the closest thing to being on the grid for the Indianapolis 500.
Oh, that's cool.
And they've got the real front row from this year's 500. So we've got Robert Schwartzman's car, we've got Takuma Sato, we've got Pato. And all these cars, they're going to update through the years. As you get a new front row, they're going to rewrap all of the cars,
so cool.
do the proper wheels and tires.
Yeah.
I mean, it is really neat that they do this. It's so great.
That was awesome.
I love how I can get those feelings. Oh, wow.
You know, I obviously, I used to run the 48 all the time because like the first ever NASCAR race I watched was Jimmy Johnson won, and it was like kind of like, oh, that's the guy. I'm just gonna like that guy. It turned out really good guy to like.
Are you gonna kiss the bricks or
No, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, see,
never know. One day, gonna get my IndyCar ride.
Dude, that's funny. Like I feel like the same way.
How you doing, guys?
There you go. There we go.
What's up? Good. How you doing? You guys ever raced here before? No? Yeah? It's a cool track. Yeah, of course. Good luck, guys. Good luck this week. Yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate it. You gotta pull it off? You have to turn the direction.
Come on, Ryan.
There you go.
You just lost us the Indy 500, bro.
It's over. It's over. It's over. See, that's why I'm supposed to be behind the wheel.
That was terrible.
I'm not supposed to be doing this.
Dude, 6-second pit stop to 16. Come on, man.
That's why I'm not supposed to be doing this. I'm supposed to be driving.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, no, yeah, talk with an arrow screen.
Welcome back, everyone, as we bring ourselves back to racing action after a bit of a delay. We are currently getting set for KA100 Junior, brought to you by TKG by Burrell Art USA. Let's talk about how things are going to look once again with this starting grid. Nico Kwiatkowski is set to be on the pole. Travis Pettit in second. Ethan Skye, Menachek should say, will start in third position. Daniel Ramirez in fourth. Matthew Cagle and Jackson Baldus are your top six. Of note, Alexander Vanchev starting last essentially in this race. So your championship leader will have a lot of ground to make up here today in KA100 Junior.
Here we go. TKG, KA Junior. Yesterday's pre-final a little bit hairy. This one hopefully a little better. Green flag in the air. We're racing down through turn one.
A great start for Kwiatkowski, able to pick up some distance already by at least 3-4 kart lengths. On the field trying to white line their way through turn 4 to defend, as much of the field stays single file to start things off as they work their way to sector 2.
For the most part, though, a good start with everyone about shuffling in where they qualified. Off to the lead for Nico Kwiatkowski. Travis Pettit right in tow. Then it is Skye Menachek, and then right behind him, Matthew Cagle with a good start on the GFC. Looking down the inside. Already, turn 12, lap 1. Hurricane Trav to the lead.
Travis Pettit just pointing the direction, saying, I'm going to lead now. I'm going to control things for the time being. Try and stay comfortable. We've seen Travis Pettit do so several times this season where he's been comfortable in towards the front to be able to pull weight. Menachek still holds on up in front for the third position meanwhile, and this is a big test for the RRE machine to see can they keep track position in the long term to be able to race later on. Cagle is the one pushing the back end of the 852 as the next pack starting to squabble a little bit. Alejandro Helfin amongst those trying to find a way forward here with Malcutt still in the mix too.
Yeah, Isaac Malcutt right here on screen there. Jose Alejandro Helfin, 5th, 6th. Little gap to Jackson Baldus, side by side behind. That is going to be down the inside. A move by Gabriel Balog, and it looked like it might have been on Danny Ramirez. We'll wait to see. Yes, indeed, Ramirez. Nathan Dupuis closing in behind. for Nate Dogg yesterday, cleaned out. He's already made it further in this pre-final than Saturday's. Had an impressive drive in the wet conditions from the back to get up into the top 15. But already here it looks like he may be having some more adversity. Look at that front bumper on the 841. Looks to be a little bit loose and potentially pushed in for Nathan Dupuis, who entered the weekend with a chance at the championship. It's still there, but that penalty looming for the pushback bumper deployment could hinder those hopes. 2 laps complete this time by. 6 to go here in the pre-final. And your update on your points leader, Alexander Vanchev. Where has he landed here? First lap, he went from 45th to 34th. End of lap 2, mark him 30th. He's still charging up the board with a long way to go to try and maximize today. And again, he's got that drop to fall back on. There is a look at the DHL yellow suit right there, trailing one of the MPG Kart Republics, and I'm going to guess that one might be Landon Boer there in the 837. And indeed, and Vanchev tried to go, but Boer's making a move himself, all in the middle of it all. Callan Berghofer runs right ahead of Davis Henry. Henry in that blue, white, and red Leading Edge Motorsports Tony Kart, and Berghofer at the helm in the Nash machine. There's a big slider from Alexander. Move him to 29th and counting here with still plenty of laps left to try and gain more.
Right now just trying to settle back down at this point. Vanchev, was able to cut his way through yesterday when he had to do so in the X30 side of things. Was able to get to about the top 10 by the end of the race. And by that point, he plateaued where he was running the same times to race the leaders, but he was only 5 seconds behind. So the better that Vanchev can do in this type of a race right here, the more progression he can have at this point to be able to help himself later on. So he's got to be able to stop the bleeding as much as he can right now with some of the other drivers. Settle on in here. You see some of those further up to the running order, working through Max Weiland in 13th.
Gabriel Balog, mind you, again, the TV card on your screen. He was the one that was the biggest victim in the crash that red flagged the pre-final from Saturday. Got spun in front of the field and clobbered many times over. We went red, checked him out, and here he is, like nothing ever happened. Picked up 4 spots already here. He looks like he might have just picked up another as he trails Malcutt right there, side by side behind Cagle versus Helfin. And this is kind of what we expected, some drivers like Isaac Malcutt. He's now up 6 positions, and Balog up 5. Both drivers that have put up impressive results and shown speed over the weekend, but being a part of that fast group in qualifying, as you mentioned, Justin, that all played the game of trying to follow and not lead. To a point, they burned their session up, and the slow group that went out earlier and just started pounding laps out-qualified the majority of them. Nico Katowski came out of that, and he right now is still pushing along with Travis Pettit. As now Balog goes for the move on Malcutt, he's by.
A nice swift move to be able to make the pass before rumbling their way up to turn 7 and 8. Some of these drivers starting to get a little bit antsy and impatient here. We're seeing a lot of shuffling out of those that were in the fast group now, being able to really find their strides. The top 2 have still checked out here, but Balog seems like he's trying to get himself wound up and get himself comfortably closed up here with the rest of this pack, especially with the attrition from the big incident yesterday. Now, some of the other drivers in this pack, like Menachik, still holding on the 852. Still going to be a decent effort from them in this pre-final, but has already slipped back to the edges of the top 10 here in this pack.
3 laps to go at the line. There won't be much time left here to try and hunt down the leaders if they keep on fighting. As Balog, that was a little bit late to try and close the door on Jose Helfin. And that was right in front of race control, too. The end of the straightaway, that double-decker building, you can see there the Champions Club Suites here at Newcastle Motorsports Park is where Bo Barfield and crew are based. And they've got, on top of that, you can see all kinds of black and blue SKUSA shirts around the facility, keeping eyes on the drivers. That might draw the ire of the officials. Still, though, Halfin's able to get by now in the cell tower hairpin. And with the gap as big as it is, this is going to be just a brawl here for third. The pack now goes all the way to include 9th place Jackson Baldus as Balog goes back in on Halfin. Matthew Cagle up in the mix of it. This would be a fantastic day if he could stay up front off all of the mix-up from qualifying. He's holding his own really well on that GFC. Up to fourth now. Max Weiland on the charge, looking inside. Mind you, again, he enters as one of the closest competitors to Alexander Vanchev in the championship standings. He needs a monster day today to keep going. It's possible to at least get into the top 5 after the season he's had so far, and maybe just a little bit more than that. 5th with drops factored in coming into today. Could that change a little? Maybe. He'd need some bad luck out of Dupuis, Pettit, and Katowski. Travis Pettit, Nico Katowski, though, up the road. Dupuis on the tail of this group, now looking to the inside of Halfin, side by side in the horseshoe.
And now Halfin getting shuffled back a little bit. Can't go the same thing a little bit now with Mount Cut able to make a move, but the rest of the field seeing how they now are able to square up one-on-one compared to what they did in qualifying. Baldus is doing a phenomenal job here keeping himself in the top 10, mind you, but is getting into a bit of a crossover battle with Weiland. Max Weiland able to pull on ahead, shuffles out the arm as he wants to settle on down as the 807 near contact. Cole Medeiros getting the elbows out, able to hold off his respective pack. Vanchev, for reference, still is trying to make his way through this field. Vanchev still well down the running order, is in the 20s.
Yeah, he had massive gains in the early couple laps, but he's going to run low on time now. Only up to 22nd as of last time across the stripe, and the white flag will already wave. 7 down, 1 to go here from Newcastle. Travis Pettit getting ready to dance here with Nico Katowski for the pre-final win. This would be the type of day that Travis needs to put the heat on Vanchev here in the championship. He'll cover low in the cell tower, parks the bus nice. Katowski nowhere to go, but a little love tap in the center. And Travis will get a gap now as they run over to turn number 10. He'll be able to open up, hit the normal marks there. Only a couple other passing opportunities remain.
Yeah, right now, Katowski's keeping close, but not sure if he's close enough for a full-on lunge. Might be forced to the outside here with a defensive move by Pettit if he doesn't get closer to be able to try and get the overlap by the exit of 16 and 17. All of the Swabalog going to be happy about this run in the top 3. Able to keep on the podium. Here we go. Katowski still not close enough. Pettit with a good distance ahead, trying to make sure he holds on.
Should be good to the end. Travis Pettit scores the pre-final win in KA Junior. Second will go to Nico Katowski. Gabriel Balog third. Isaac Malcutt fourth. Nathan Dupuis will round your top 5 provisionally over Baldus, Weiland, Halfin, Manuchik, Luca Popescu 10th. Vanchev's drive. He picked up a ton on that last lap here. Entered it in 20th. Picks up another 4. He'll cross the line P16, and that will be a net gain for Alexander Vanchev of 29 spots here in the pre-final. What a charge through the grid for the Ralston Performance Group Cosmic Driver. And now the reset button has been pressed enough where he should be okay to move on here for this feature from the 8th row, and maybe try to keep some points off the board, because still it's going to be really tough to try and hurt and make this day be a drop for anyone else in the title fight. Travis Pettit, 100 points scored right there with the pre-final win.
Yeah, going to be very helpful for his championship hopes at this point to be able to score one he has. But it's still going to be important to mention with how Vanchev's been all season in 2 different classes. It's still going to be a big gap that has to be closed up in general from without the drop. Without the drop, the points tally was more than 200 after all today.
Next up will be the Micro Swifts, the youngest superstars ready to go. Their qualifying session, a little bit of woes in the slow group, pretty clean in the fast group, and a good championship battle to definitely touch on when they hit the circuit. But a little break in the action for some of the medical attention needed following that Pro Shifter pre-final. A lot of DNFs and a scary moment earlier on. We'll have updates on it along with plenty more in the pits, though, as they come. For now, the celebration and reset of the focus goes for Speed Concepts Racing with Travis Pettit and for Nico Katowski, who just continues to flourish here over this summer stretch with Trinity Karting Group. A P2 run, bringing Travis all the way to the wire, and probably with a lot of notes made and more to be taken when they review that final lap battle in the tent area. Still a full house, 300 plus in attendance here at the SuperKarts USA Summer Nationals, the biggest on record. The SKUSA Pro Tour finale, round 6 for Micro now as the karts hit the racetrack here shortly with 7 to 10-year-olds getting ready to put on a show, and we'll get ready to bring you the lineup here as well. Here they go, already beginning to form up. Your Micro Swift Field, Slade Harrell on the inside of the front row. He'll start alongside the 213 Jay Howard driver development entry of Leo Simone. Then it'll be Aiden Go and Lennox Lockhart back on row number 2.
Row number 3, that's Joey Joe, who will be in the 5th position. Hudson Howard will round out the top 5. Brody Stoffel starts off in 7th with Zev Gottschalk, rounding out your top 8.
Liam Francisco and Bo Wyatt will complete the first 5 rows. Brody Brown and Jack Katowski has to go 1 spot better than P2. He'll have to do it from 12th if he wants to be a little better than big brother Nico. Mason Brody and Dutch Westbrook line up behind them.
Dominic Nagel down there as well. He'll start 15th with Franco Smeo in the 16th position. Caden Cladera in 17th. Hendrick Ross, who was the top 10 driver yesterday, amongst the top 18 as the rest of the field scrolls through. The field's already rumbling pretty fast.
Here we go. 7 laps for the Micro Swifts for the pre-final. Let's get ready to let them loose down that long straightaway. Slade Harrell in the red and black. Ryan Perry Motorsport Nitro Kart brings the field to green. One spun around into the front straightaway. Not sure who it was. Around middle of the field when it happened. But we are out and away here with Micro Swift's pre-final. So far, so good for Slade Harrell. And a good jump for Aiden Go to get into 2nd, as it looks like Simone's dropped into 4th. Joey Joe able to get the better of him now. Wow, a crossover from Leo is able to get back to 3rd. It's Liam Francisco now taking the fight to Joe. He'll lose that for 4th. And here comes Brody Stoffel to the inside to take that last spot in the top 5.
Stoffel, we know, is very fast around this racetrack. We've seen it in the early portion of the session. Just got shuffled back in the last lap. Wasn't able to top his personal best. All of this as well. Simone able to shuffle his way to 2nd through turn 12. Up to the shark fin. Stoffel has to focus back up to be able to close up 3-4 kart lanes. Hope for some battling up front, especially with Harrell already under attack. How about a dive into 16?
Side by side, and now back to the front for Slade Harrell with a crossover move. Let's see if he can get there with a little help. Aiden Go's not close enough. Slade's gonna have to do it on his own. He'll send it in the brake zone and lead lap number 1 over Simone, Go, and Brody Stoffel, who has been shot out of a cannon here on the opening circuit.
Simone able to already battle it out here. Stoffel from 7th. Mind you, Brody Brown has also moved his way up 4 spots. Race lead yet again. Another move by Simone, this time turn 4. Inside was left open. At this point, these drivers aren't uberly defending right now. Drivers are seeing moves and saying, if you want it, take it. Stoffel able to hold back Francisco on a move back. Hornet's Nest as some of the drivers get shuffled off there.
Brody Brown in the 217 pushed to the wayside down the hill. And the Team Bennick driver was up to 7th last time by the loop. He'll be further back than that now. Change for 3rd. Brody Stoffel wants another one. He'll get it in turn 12. Liam Francisco, Aiden Go. Side by side, and Go will win that argument. He gets back in line there. Holds on to 4th. Joe back in 6th. Lockhart on the way along with Zev Gottschalk. And the young man from Curacao there in the 221. Leads his Bennick teammate, a Dutch Westbrook, and then it's the pair of JHDDs. Mason Brody, Hudson Howard complete this 11 driver, 12 driver front group as they trade again. Francisco now does take fourth there through turn 1.
Nicely done to be able to slip his way on by yet again. And at this point, these drivers are really gaining too much ground. Stoffel in the top 3 is gaining ground to be able to reel on in the race leaders. Francisco likes to be able to just stay comfortable. But right now when you have drivers like Lennox Lockhart pushing hard and others going 3 wide, urgency is being picked up. Gottschalk amongst those going 3 wide, having to back out of it.
Win Gottschalk, nowhere really to make anything happen in that one. Let's see as the pack has now split up off of that and a few other passes. Who else can start to flex some muscle? Lennox Lockhart's going to go on 8 and go down the inside in 12. And simultaneously behind Zev Gottschalk with the move. So Zev Gottschalk, Lennox Lockhart both picking up a spot there. Brody Stoffel got to 3rd in that corner a lap ago. He's now by himself trying to hunt down the 2 leaders, Leo Simone.
Right now, they are still trying to figure out, can they sort themselves out here? Harrell seems content on just pushing, making it a 2-car battle, not costing themselves too much time. Limit the variables. That's the main phrase that we say all the time here. It's a chess match. And if you end up trying to treat it where you want to make that big move early on, someone's going to end up coming along with the patient move and saying, well, you let me right back into this conversation, able to make my exact move, and that's what they're doing right now. Rest of the field, Lockhart doing a great job charging forward. Now under attack, Gottschalk takes away the inside, peels his way through 7. As they rumble away to turn 8, Gottschalk able to get the spot.
So Zev Gottschalk and Lennox were both working in sync earlier. Now Zev's showing maybe to be a little better at the midway point of this pre-final. Brody Stoffel, I think, still might be the strongest of everyone, but Zev Gottschalk now with another move, this time on Liam Francisco. Best of the rest as the top 3 have a little gap. And the question becomes, can he get there before this race hits its end? It'll be 3 laps to go this time by. Leo Simone even starting to pull away a little bit from Slate Harrell out in front. Brody Stoffel has caught the pair of them and still is gaining. He should be able to make some noise here any minute as 4th, 5th, 6th on your screen now are doing everything they can to try and make some inroads. There's the move for 2nd. Stoffel's got it done. Slate Harrell back to P3.
Harrell, at the very least, I think will be able to hold on to a podium here because I'm not sure if Gottschalk's going to have enough time to be able to close up. It just has been that type of a race where it's taken a bit of time for someone like Stoffel to even close up to the teammate of Simone to be able to get to their respective pack. Right now, that separation is still 7 kart lengths between Harrell and Gottschalk. But Stoffel, I think, might have a chance maybe to do something on the final time around, if not second to last lap on Simone, with how much Stoffel is really closed up now in the draft to be able to work with the J. Howard driver development machine in front of him.
Brody Stoffel half a car length back now from Leo Simone. Like you said, if he works with him, he could still end up winning this thing just with enough time left to push the gap away and secure the 2 of them enough space to go no worse than 2nd. But at the rate he's going, it'd be hard to justify how fast he is and also how fast Zev Gottschalk is further back. So he's going to go right now. Brody Stoffel inside, looking clear. New leader, the 229 takes over at the end of lap 5, and Zev Gottschalk picks up a full 2nd on the lead pack that lap, and now makes it a 4-car party up front here with 2 laps to go.
Part of that's with the battle going on that Gottschalk was able to close up. Gottschalk now able to disrupt things. Making my eat my own words there again as Gottschalk able to close up and reel on in Harrell with the battle pack closing itself up. They're battling now a little bit too aggressive because they're allowing Francisco back in, everyone else in side by side again amongst the teammates. Now a squeeze back by Stoffel. Getting the edge is a bit off track for Gottschalk, able to still keep the grip off the exit.
Yeah, he dropped the left sides there as they kind of washed back out. Now he's going to send it. Big move inside Zev Gottschalk now to P2. What a charge from 9th on the grid. Zev Gottschalk onto the tail of Brody Stoffel. Here comes the rest of the cavalry. Liam Francisco 5th. They're side by side further back. That was Lockhart getting back around Aiden Go. And Brody is already starting to park it down low, but Zev Gottschalk finds a nose low. Even more so is almost the 213 of Leo Simone. He has to back out as he hits the grass. Now, Gottschalk, bumper, outside. Can he cross him up? Yes, he can. Big time move for Zev Gottschalk here at the white flag. And all top 10 drivers here in Micro Swift are together.
Absolute calamity when it comes to this battle for the race lead. It's not done yet, though, because Gottschalk has to play aggressive defense or aggressive sending. Everybody tries to Harrell. Contact.
Dutch Westbrook, Harrell around. More contact, leads some more, and Slate Harrell from the front all the way to the grass on the final lap now. Zev Gottschalk gets away cleanly, though. Brody Stoffel a little ways back. Then is it Liam Francisco that's moved to third? This is Hudson Howard further away, back inside the top 10. Francisco indeed on the bright yellow nitro kart. Further back, the JHED entry of Leo Simone survives it and is watching his teammate up the road have to deal with a very fast Canadian bearing down. Here comes Liam in the 214 through the shark fin, both of them trying to close up to Gottschalk. Zev has passed 8 go-karts over the last 6 laps. Now he needs to hang on with 2 of them that he's gotten by already, trying to set up for a big-time run. Down the backstretch, final time, final corner. Stoffel's a little more worried for second. Francisco will go to the high side to challenge, and Zev Gottschalk scores the pre-final win. Let's take a look as the last few finishers cross the line here for the Micro Swift Pre-Final with a shopakr.com replay of that wild final lap here coming to you. Zev Gottschalk gets away, and then here, and this really started further back down the straightaway even, but 3 karts trying to get down to 1 lane. Not everyone realizing probably how wide they were, how many were side by side. And Slate Harrell ends up as the victim of it. He drove down Leo Simone, didn't want to give the spot up. Lennox Lockhart had to pop the brakes. Dutch Westbrook comes in like a bowling ball, not expecting nearly as much of a chain reaction. Launches over Lennox, somehow continues, and manages to finish. But sadly, Slate Harrell ends up getting spun around. And he was able to, I believe, get the kart back going, but not finish. He'll have to pull into the pit lane here. Here's your top 15 provisionally. Gottschalk, Stoffel, Francisco, Leo Simone, Dutch Westbrook. Your provisional top 5 in Micro Swift. And that's a high bar for win when he goes up for his Mini Swift Pre-Final later on this morning. Zev Gottschalk through the scales and clear. He's your Pre-Final winner, and a big hug to congratulate him. What a drive. Again, 9th on the grid, 8 spots gained. All on merit too, Justin. He didn't get a big shove, and the chaos happened after he'd already gotten to the lead. He drove his tail off to carve through that field.
Yeah, he had to push very hard to close up because with 3-4 laps to go, I thought that gap isn't closing up unless something major happens. And well, guess what? They started battling aggressive for the race lead, and that just cost them enough time with some of the side-by-side by about a half a second or so to give Gottschalk that opportunity to draft up and join that battle and be able to slip on by everyone else. As everyone was busy having a fire drill over the spots, he was just able to swiftly keep calm and cool and make his moves as we get ready for our next race.
Master Shifter onto the circuit for their 8-lap pre-final, presented by Rocket Racing Company, as we take a look from the Skycam over this beautiful facility here in Indiana. Master Shifter at 14 drivers that qualified. 15 were on the original entry list. We were missing 1, and we'll wait to see if we do get to see him. But they are a fraction of the 300 plus here in attendance at Newcastle Motorsports Park here today. Tim Hollowell able to get the pole by a little over a 10.5. Jordan Musser, Larry Pegram lining up 3rd. John Crow to the outside in 4th here for row number 2.
row number 3, that will feature Scott Hargrove, who looks to try and find some speed here to close out the day. Scott Presti will start in the 6th position. Sketchy Barnes starts off in 7th with Robert Feige in the 8th position.
Moving back to the edge of the top 10. Very close here from 5th to 10th. Justin Kelly on the inside and Pierce Baldus on his outside. Kevin Woods and Christian Abat back on row number 6. Cameron Castles and Daniel Perras. Perras with a mechanical issue that kept him from doing the full qualifying session.
So look down to bottom with the running order here in this one as Gil gets ready to line up. Allwell has been looking pretty quick all throughout the weekend, but Musser has been the one who's been in control in this entire field for long run pace, the 6:16. Keep an eye on that cart as they get lined up in their start boxes.
So Master Shifter to the boxes, a little bit easier of a grid to line. All 14 look good. There's the cross from the back. And the officials will go to the flags for our second standing start of the day. Master Shifter, away we go. And look at the start from Larry Pegram around the outside. He's going to run out of racetrack. And Tim Hollowell will get the lead, but a near hole shot for the former AMA Superbike pro rider and champion Larry Pegram. He'll slide to 4th, and John Crow is able to find a gap there out of turn number 18 on the layout. The first turn off the start to slip by Musser, take over 2nd. We've got a battle on our hands here to shake things up in Master Shifter for Sunday.
Yeah, already a good start for Hallwell, but Musser, remember, has been helping out drivers like Morgado in terms of driver data he talked about over the course of the weekend to find them speed because he's been quicker in some cases compared to some of his counterparts in the Pro Shifter. Now it's the matter of finding his way around this traffic. Crow doing a good job parking it so far to not allow too many runs or any opportunities yet for the 616 to make some moves.
All back up to full song now as they rocket down the Long Pond straightaway. Here comes Jordan Musser with a shove to Crow and a look inside and by. Jordan Musser moves back up to 2nd. And yesterday's winner had pressure through most of the day. He had better starts than that one earlier on, and really that wasn't a bad start by the off-pole sitter. He just tried to play the long game and bailed out when they went 3 wide around him. Pegram on his right, and of course Hollowell still dead even on his left. But the patience that Jordan Musser was able to put on display, the race management that we witnessed in that main event, especially Justin, was something to definitely write home about. He kept the gap nice and tight and tidy until the last few laps of the race when he started to release the throttle and push a little bit more to build it and not have to worry about a last lap battle. And he had exactly that when the checkers flew, about a 2-second margin back to Hollowell, who gave him everything he was worth there. And then further back, this action, this 5th through 10th group, I mean, they were exciting yesterday. They were exciting today. Scott Hargrove, Skitchy Barnes side by side. Robert Feige right there as they all battle long behind the leaders here, who have spread apart nicely here. Back to Presti in 5th. This is actually 6th place on back. Hargrove holding them off as much as he can here.
Yeah, right now doing a good job being able to try and fight them all up down, but Barnes, I think, is a little bit quicker right now because of what we've seen consistently throughout the weekend. There's Barnes with a look. Not able to make it stick through turn 4, though. A little bit too far back. Set with Presti also in this choo-choo train, or rather, Feige in the choo-choo train. All of them losing lots of ground right now to Presti is the bigger point, though. They're 1.4 seconds back last time by. That gap is growing each and every time around with how Hargrove has just not seemed to have that oomph that he needs on the straight line speed to be able to keep up.
Well, it's never going to really look good either when you're going offline to defend like he has had to. Getting the dirtier part of the racetrack on corner entry just is going to keep those tires from ever getting clean. He's finally got himself a little breathing room now, though. Let's see if he can try to stretch that gap out. And if so, what will happen as the rest of the group behind start to get some real estate to put some laps in? Not a great start for Justin Kelly, falling back a little bit. He looked a lot better today than he did yesterday speed-wise. He's starting to put the heat on of Kevin Woods for that 10th position as well with this midfield fight. And then, of course, just ahead of Woods, teammate Pierce Baldus there. He'll stay right on the heels of Fige going to the cell tower. Nobody close enough or confident enough for a big-time send. And again, there's no urgency factor either, unlike in Pro Shifter where it's either pass or be passed. And 44, only 14. And with Krishna Bhatt, Cameron Castles, Daniel Peras a little bit away, the leader's kind of gone. You're not in a huge hurry to try and make the most of this 8-lap pre-final. You're only really battling a couple of drivers, and it's just going to shift whether you're on the inside or the outside and up or down one row, it looks like, for the final.
Yeah, right now at this point, everyone's just running their own race, racing the track more than racing against each other. You can see Hargrove at the very least trying to just keep an eye on seeing where his championship rival is on the racetrack. Keep him at bay for the time being, but at the halfway point, Hargrove seems to be settling on down now. 1:07.4 last time by. 2/1,000 of a second difference between him and Barnes. Near identical on time. They are right now running, not as quick as the leader, but they're running and as quick as the top three in terms of overall pace, with Crow starting to equalize out to 1.7 seconds back of the leaders.
And the leaders are tightening. Jordan Musser last time by 0.2 faster than Tim Hollowell. He's closed the gap now from what was about a second to 0.3. And with plenty of time still left to try to pick the VTM driver apart here over the course of the pre-final, get that inside lane starting spot for the main. It's a big talking point that we like to bring up here because it's so different and specific to standing starts that you're concerned about the straightaway cleanliness or grip level on either side for Shifter. And granted, Musser on the outside's in where the normal racing groove is, so you're going to have a little more rubber laid down and kind of a path cleared than the inside. But here, with where they're doing the starts this weekend, so close down to that first 90-degree corner, I mean, you really have to get a mega launch from second to end up with the lead by the time you hit the timing loop. Otherwise, being on the outside in turn 18, you're almost guaranteed to lose a spot, if not, in the case of Musser in this race, 2. So that inside starting position should be preferred, looks to be fought over, and it looks to be, again, enough motivation for Musser to try and push and close that gap down to Hollowell. Will hit the line this time for 2 more laps around here in this Master Shifter pre-final. And John Crow, as you mentioned, kind of stabilizing out there in third. The same for Larry Pegram, or at least he was. Third and fourth have closed up a little. Looks like Skitchy Barnes has finally gotten past Scott Hargrove. That's back for P6. Robert Fige, P7. And to the line, double sticks going this time for your 2 race leaders. Tim Hollowell, Jordan Musser, 2 to go. Third and fourth tightening up. Last time by 1.1 seconds apart. This time 9/10. Larry Pegram eating away at the margin John Crow has on the factory kart. And hearing from Billy Musgrave in the presser last night how it was such a last-second decision to even shift John over to the 2.0 frame. He was slated to compete this weekend, I believe, as the Indiana-based engineer for the Andretti Global IndyCar team. Found a gap in the schedule, or at least working along with the Andretti overall family of motorsports. I'm not sure exactly where they've got the Crow services mixed across the massive enterprise of that motorsports organization, but happy to have him here, even with a busy race weekend in the middle of the massive motorsports summer stretch. Formula One on track today. IMSA, of course, in a busy run of events. IndyCar as well, and NASCAR too, over at the Brickyard about an hour away, down at IMS. With a white flag waving, though, a local Indiana native is looking to do good here in this pre-final. Tim Hollowell continues to hold the lead, and the last lap, or maybe the last lap and a half, he's looked better than Jordan Musser. The times have showed it. 7/10 now between the pair.
Yeah, right now Hollowell seems to be in a comfortable spot. Musser setting fast lap times, yes, but Hollowell has been able to respond with those tire pressures and that speed at the very end of the run, with times up 4/10 now over the 6:16. Now it's just a matter of keeping it nice and tidy through this part of the racetrack as they work their way through up to turn 12. No major issues, no major slides, just about breaking the draft distance right now. That's how good Hallwell has gone in this lap so far and has been able to close things out strong to be able to try and get a pre-final. Just has a couple corners to go.
Jordan Musser kept him honest, but flipping the script from yesterday, Tim Hollowell is able to manage all 8 laps beautifully. He'll win the pre-final in Master Shifter. Jordan Musser, second across the line. Third will go to John Crow. Fourth to Larry Pegram. Fifth to Scott Presti. And Sketchy Barnes to the line will hold on over Scott Hargrove, Robert Feige. Kevin Woods able to get the better of Pierce Baldus late in the going, and he fades back just ahead of Justin Kelly. We'll take a quick break here from the action, folks. Pre-finals continuing to roll. KA100 Senior on deck next. And, well, yeah, that one will be wild. 48 deep. And we'll see you on the other side with all of them.
Brandon, why are there all these charges for just over $200?
I'm tired of all this Brandon business, okay? Brandon this, Brandon that. Why are there all these expenses on AKR over $200? We know, okay? Take a walk with me. At Shop AKR, they have everything you need to start racing at a very cheap and affordable price. They have MXC rims, they got chains, electrical stands, tilt seats, they got MXCs. And if you didn't know, on top of that, any purchase in the continental US over $200, that's free shipping.
Hey, aren't you supposed to be in the AKR Anonymous meeting over there?
Dude, I'm doing a commercial.
Dude, we have no time. It's about to start.
Stop. We all love Shop AKR. Me? More than others. What do I get at Shop AKR?
MXC rims.
Kyle, what are you doing?
It's got my new Greyhound seat.
You don't even have a cart.
Doesn't matter. I have a Greyhound.
Who is Kyle Cuthbertson? Doesn't even have a go-kart.
Doesn't matter.
Cuthbertson through on Turney. Turney in the dirt.
Next group of karts are on the racetrack. It's time for some KA100 Senior by Nash Motorsports. It's Diego Ramos and Chase Gassiet Lee lead the field. Colin Lloyd starts in third. Oliver Hodgson will round out the top 4 here today, Xander.
Moving back, row number 3 has Mick Gabriel on the inside, ZCD to the outside. Timothy Pernod, Fernando Luque, Donovan Mania, and Eli Warren, yesterday's pole sitter on the outside. Caleb, what do you have for us here as we get set for green?
Really quick. Throughout the day, it started at 8. Temperature 117 degrees Fahrenheit track temps right now.
Skyrocketing as we get set to go for Nash Motorsports KA Senior. Taking a look on the inside here with the front row, Diego Ramos, and riding on board with Chase Gassiet Lee to the outside, Colin Lloyd on the bottom as they roll through turns 2, 3, and 4, all at full speed here in 40 deep. It's a great launch for Ramos, and Gassiet Lee's going to get shuffled a bit wide. He'll find a hole down low in 4th here as he covers off from Gabriel and crew.
Had to hold back defensively aggressively, actually, because he never got pushed into the grass. Some drivers still 2 and 3 wide of the back of the field. All of this is wow. Diego Ramos looks to try and set sail up at the front. Everybody else marches their way out through 8. Now lumber their way through 9 off the 10 and so forth. Right now, good separation. Lloyd was able to qualify very well here in this race. Lloyd carried speed from early morning's practice sessions too. Right now staying pretty close, but not close enough to keep up with Ramos, having to play more defense on Hodgson than anything else.
First lap coming to a close this time by here for the 8-lap pre-final for K100 Senior. Diego Ramos, your leader. Colin Lloyd with a good launch here with Mick Gabriel now looking to pressure Chase Cassiat Lee. He'll go by there at the end of the long straightaway. Riding along with him, Timothy Pernod and then Donovan Bonilla lurking on. Lloyd and Hodgson, second and third here at the end of lap number 1.
Cassiat Lee going the wrong direction, is getting attacked by everybody. Is having to play a lot more hard defense than anything else. Had to nearly scissor block Pernod to make sure that that run didn't come to the inside. Stop the bleeding here. Pernod takes the advantage though in 7, able to come his way up another spot. And at this point, Cassiat Lee just doesn't seem to have to fire off right now to be able to move forward.
Well, the big thing, look at how much dirt and debris is offline, Justin. Especially you'll see a bit of it here in turn 12 as Cassiat Lee tries to send it down the inside. All those black pieces that have rubber that have been ripped off the tires as they begin to slowly burn into the pavement. A little bit of grip, and then chunks just fly to the outside. You'll have the clear path on the natural line, but when you have to go to the high side to get past or to make a move on someone, you're kind of cleaning the next half a lap or more, your tires off. So that's where Cassiat Lee is in a tough spot. He's trying to get back in line. He again gets kept on the outside there with Pernod. Part of the reason he sent it back on him is like, well, I've at least got to do something to put someone else at a vulnerable position. But all the while, it's allowed the top 4 to break away. Ramos to Lloyd to Hodgson. And how about quick Mick Gabriel? The AEM karting Tony car driver has quickly latched onto the leaders. And Dono is looking good as well. Donovan Bonilla leading the next group. I mean, this is a big pack of go-karts. Pernod, followed by DeMello, Luque, last year's champ James Overbeck. Only 10th right now here, but still a better start than yesterday for the number 1 plate.
Yeah, so far quiet day again for James Overbeck here today. Just trying to maintain and ride as we go on. But that battle for second still is a major focal point because you have Hodgson hounding the back end of Lloyd now, trying to pressurize. If anything, trying to push him forward to try and keep the leader here. Might have to show the nose and try and see about a poke here, Sue, because Hodgson has some rapid speed here. It's just right now he doesn't want to risk losing any more ground to Ramos and losing the draft that seems to be keeping him in line and making sure he doesn't have to go into the marbles to make a pass right now in this choo-choo train.
Ramos still out in front by a car length, right? This is so similar to what Diego was able to do yesterday. Just being able to kind of keep a car length, a 2-car length gap back to whoever was trying to hunt him down. And while in the tow, Mick Gabriel's laid down some heaters and looks to maybe be a little stronger than Hodgson and Lloyd if you just go off the lap times. Nobody, when they've gotten up to second, has been able to either force a mistake and rattle the Brazilian, much less be fast enough to just drive up to him on merit. They're all just back there a little ways away from the PSL karting driver who mathematically has already clinched the championship here in KA Senior with the best 5 of 6 rounds for him. If they counted only rounds 1 through 5, more than enough for what anyone else could improve upon with results today. The battle, though, is still on for the vice champion honors. Oliver Hodgson's in that conversation, and he's right now scoring some good points here if it finishes as it does with a P3 and a potential spot higher. Still pushing Colin Lloyd around.
About halfway down to the race, by the way, halfway to go, about 5 minutes through the action in total. Bonilla still leading his train, trying to close up aerodynamically as much as he can here with Zach DeMello just willing to ride here. We know CCD usually likes to be the leader in these types of situations, but seems to be picking up on the racecraft needed to say, if we battle it out here, we're not going to catch up. We've got to see if this is going to work for now. And if it doesn't, maybe I'll force the issue. Now the issue's forced. Able to make the pass in through the corner after riding on behind. So now, was that a calculated risk worth taking here? They lost a couple kart lengths with that move made by CCD.
Coming out of the infield shark fin. What does the gap look like when they hit the line this time by for the pre-final? 4 down, coming to put 5 completed. And it'll be 3 laps to go. Another big shove from Hodgson to try and keep Lloyd close to Ramos. All of them trying to take some notes here. They're getting a really good bird's eye view of where the 921 seems to have them covered in terms of raw speed, because again, Diego, in some of the marquee technical spots of this racetrack, he just seems to really fire off extremely well. And again, even with those two shoving, the closing rate between those two bump drafting and the draft off the back of Ramos is not tremendous. You see the gap open up out of the cell tower nicely. He's looked really good as well out of the left-hander that is in the middle of the second to last straightaway, turn 14. Even here, being able to roll speed, open the hands sooner, keep that back end of that BRLR nice and free. The gap continues further back. Gassi Lee has now slipped a little bit towards the end of the top 10, which has seen some new faces. Paulie Massimino now going past his teammate in Overbeck and bringing Brandon Lemke with him. Both of those drivers started back in the deep teens. 16th on the grid for Massimino, 19th on the grid for Brandon Lemke. Charging up the field here. They are some of the biggest movers so far, with a few further back.
Ruben Moya, you can throw in that conversation too. He's gone from 20th spot
up
to the 8th spot. And he's been, I know it says +3 there, but he's gone up rapidly in terms of his pace right now in the draft of Luke, who has gone up, who has stayed about where he's been starting so far. So Moya, very much so, performing very well here after up and down racing yesterday, where he had
the red flag. Red flag, big crash on the far side of the property here. Red flag is out. This one will be over. 6 laps completed, and the red flag hits us on lap number 7. Drivers involved potentially: John Main, Jordan Nvani, and Cooper O'Clair. All were running around the 25th position, right in the middle of the field, the hornet's nest, if you will. And we get to our first stoppage of the day. Well, second truly, but first mid-session. We had the moment in Pro Shifters Pre-Final, and unfortunately now we are back stopped again with K.A. Senior. You can see Chase Gassi Lee's expression there, frustrated a bit with probably how the session went, but also this one will probably get called early. We'll give you more updates as we receive them. For now, 6 laps completed. Drivers told to stand back from their go-karts. There were 2 laps remaining, but again, they're past halfway. It'll be race director discretion of whether or not this race gets restarted, or more than likely, being solely a pre-final, it would get cut short, and we would get set to roll straight into the next division, X30 Junior, which they're already down on the grid. So we'll take a moment, step aside, we return. We'll give you updates here from K.A. Senior and the on-track activity, hopefully to resume shortly. All right, as you can see, on-track activity has resumed, but not in the way we would like. All drivers are being sent into the pit lane. This session has been called. So your KA 100 Senior Pre-Final will be only the 6 laps that they ran at speed. Diego Ramos will get credited with the win. And the driver involved they were tending to was Freddie Siemens. Very scary moment right in front of the crowd over by the front straightaway at the finish line. A couple drivers colliding. He was right behind all of them. And thankfully, Jordan and Vonnie, Cooper O'Clair, the others, and we thought for a moment it was John Main. John Main, his teammate, actually stopped to check on his friend and teammate in Freddie Siemens. And Caleb has an update for us on the driver we were tending to.
Yeah, first of all, very scary incident that we just saw there, but thankfully everybody involved is okay, and the driver, again, that we were tending to is okay, awake and alert, just got taken in the ambulance, and we wait further evaluation, but awake, alert, everything seems to be good for now.
Thank you for that, Caleb. There you have it. Tony Rivera trying to get the kart fired up, trying to clear the racetrack as quick as possible here for the X30 Junior Pre-Final to roll. 3 more pre-finals before a short break in the action. We are on standby as we are a little behind the timetable with some of the added delays that have unfortunately occurred here today of when we will go green with the Pro Shifter main event to kick off the post-lunch break round of sessions and close out the 2025 SuperKarts USA Pro Tour. So a little more cleanup still to go here on KA Senior, and 45 drivers are lined on the grid and ready, waiting for the command for X30 Junior.
Paulie Massimino wins the Wisconsin Grand Prix. James Overbeck on start number 2 gets win number 1 in OKN Stars.
On track or off, Brandon Jarsekrak Racing delivers elite performance. Led by 4-time Pro National Champion Brandon Jarsekrak, our team masters driver coaching, data-driven analysis, and mechanical precision at every national event. Contact us today at BrandonJarsekrakracing.com.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
Are you looking to take the next step in your racing journey? Well, look no further than PitFit.
With 2 locations in Charlotte, North Carolina and Indianapolis, Indiana, PitFit trains drivers all the way from grassroots level karting to IndyCar and NASCAR with top-of-the-line personalized coaching to improve physical and cognitive fitness.
For more information on programs, check out PitFit on Instagram or Facebook today.
Side-by-side contact. They're in the barriers. They're both in the wall. Daniel Vasile will win Pro Shifter. Unbelievable turn of events. And Italian Motors wins again.
But the heartbreak and the emotion so close.
Everybody knows the Super Nationals. Everybody's watching it.
I mean, Vegas is Vegas. You want to win this. This is our Indy 500. This is our big one.
Welcome to Super Sunday.
Welcome back, everyone, to today's action as we've had a bit of a break in the schedule. Next up in the schedule is X30 Juniors. Karts are now getting the command to roll onto the racetrack, brought to you by Wilson Performance Group. Max Wildman leads the way for this field. Travis Pettit will start in second. Alexander Vanchev and Jackson Gibson are among your top four. Jose Alejandro Halpin starts in fifth, with Lucas Blasio in sixth. Ashton Woon starts off at seventh. Comaderos rounding out your top eight. Nico Gutowski in ninth, and Tristan Murphy gets a top 10 starting spot in this field. Other notables amongst your top 20, Nathan Goldstedt down at 18th. Tyler Kemper Jr. gets a good starting spot. He'll begin things in about 14th position. Sarah Bradley, who's at speed all weekend, starting well deep in the field in about 15th spot. Also, among some of your drivers on the grid. But the field continues to get itself sorted. Plenty of drivers in it. Pick out your favorite driver on the grid. Many drivers like Ibarra in 27th, Calderon in 30th, Vitor in 32nd. Among some of the notables, Inigo Irwin down in 37th. Also, for this pack. And Xander, these drivers getting themselves all sorted out and ready to go. 45 strong, ready to roar here.
Max Weiland on the inside in the white, orange, and blue Magic colors. Travis Pettit on the outside. Great day already for Travis. Starting second in X30 Junior, winner in the KA Junior Pre-Final. Weiland had a good charge in that one. He gets a much easier spot to fight from here in this field. And the same for the young man behind him, who is looking to lock it out for the title. Alexander Vanchev, who rolls from third. Jackson Gibson again on the outside. X30 Junior, 45 strong, nice and slow as they hit the start box, hit the gas, and away we go for the pre-final.
Vanchev already able to jump up the second spot off a good launch, able to pass by Pettit. Already sets his eyes focused forward on trying to figure out, can he take the race lead quickly and early? Yesterday, he had to charge through several times over to gain some positions in X30 Junior today. Not the case in this class, although it is in his other race. Now, that being said, as he works his way around here, trying to close things up, some of the errors feeling some antsiness. Gibson taking some small swoops around as they work their way up to turn 12. Or dives to the inside. Madero's under attack, nearly pushed wide in some side-by-side in the second pack. Another dive. Here comes Helfin, able to make a move.
Jose Alejandro Helfin able to pick up a little bit. And overall, the first lap's been pretty tidy here for X30 Junior. Let's see if he can stay that way to the end of it. Mini Swift and Pro X30 on deck as they'll come down to the line. 1 down, 7 to go. Weiland, your leader, over a hungry crew, all lined up behind him. Vanchev, Pettit, Halfin, Gibson. Still one big train. Ashton Woon with a move, top of the screen. He'll take over 6 back from Cole Medeiros, who got the better of him through the first corner. And now through the horseshoe we go with a little bit of a gap back from Palacio, and Max Weiland is already starting to try and pull away. Here's Halfin bringing the cavalry to the inside of Vanchev. Gibson through, Palacio through, 3 spots lost in 1 turn for the points leader.
Williams Academy driver able to slip on through as well, and Palacio absolutely. Now Vanchev on the back foot off the start, now trying to gain his front footing. Dives back on Palacio, makes the pass through 12. They all try and regroup. All of this as well. Max Weiland starts to build a small buffer in front. Not sure how long that's going to last with how bracy things have been today. As one driver gets some assistance.
Indy Irwin. She's had a rough go of it this weekend, to say the least. And the young lady, the younger sister to Jay Irwin, with another woe here on Sunday. Passes all the way through the pack here up front. Palacio down the inside. Now Woon on Palacio. Those two have had plenty of battles over the years in the Mini Swift category. They both are able to get by still and keep behind the points leader. Alexander Vanchev is now down the inside. Goes Halfin side by side with Pettit, and Gibson follows. And the changes continue here.
And they keep on trying to swap back. Vanchev trying to get back on the offensive. Oh, a bit of contact. That nearly was a wheel over the tire there. Medeiros able to keep it planted, though. The Canadian nearly had disaster. Another send on Helpfin. Yet again, this time it is going to be a back and forth, though. Helpfin on Gibson. Brings back Pettit. Pettit overlaps them both to take the opportunity back single file for the shark fin. Helpfin able to hold serve after that initial send, and they've lost plenty of ground to Weiland. Still working her way around the racetrack. Coming up to halfway next time by. Weiland is trying to hold on in front of Helpfin and company. The rest of the group continues to sort itself out. Now as they continue to rumble, Vanchev has been able to single file out in his respective pack, be able to get back into the top 5, pull away from Palacio, pull away from Woon as things have settled on down for the man in the DHL suit. Now it's all the matter of where things close on up for the rest of this pack. Helpfin needs to close up more than a second and a half just about to have a chance. And Vanchev, when he's single filed out, can usually run pretty quick. Last time through they had lost 0.8 of a second for the rest of the field. So the rest of the field makes its way back on through, coming to halfway this time by. Max Weiland still controls things. More sense for Medeiros this time on Woon. Woon defends from the high side, able to get the pull back for the straightaway.
Down through turn number 18 to put another lap in the books. Halfway in, halfway home. RPG X30 Junior. Max Weiland controls the field. Alexander Vanchev just not necessarily having that kind of outright pace we've come to know from him as the field works its way to the horseshoe. Jose Helpfin, Travis Pettit right there, as now Jackson Gibson slips in the middle of the two, and they try to again see what they can to put laps together to close the gap to the race leader. Another move for Ashton Woon, this time on Lucas Palacio. He'll get the job done there as they continue to rock it down to the inside. Palacio now through on Woon again, and here comes Medeiros on the outside as they go to the shark fin. And over in the run to the I-70 hairpin, we'll see this time by. It'll be 4 down and 4, it'll be 5 down and 3 to go. Past halfway, Weiland's lead continues out front of this X30 Junior field.
Yeah, and that lead seems to be very difficult to close up right now because, 1, they've swapped spots again to the lead of the group with Pettit, but 2, that's almost 2 seconds, and we've seen some gaps at that time be able to be closed up, but right now they're losing on average about 0.3 per lap, give or take, even when they're working together nicely. So Weiland just is backing up speed that he's carried all weekend long. Vanchev, for reference, by the way, he's been able to chip away the gap on them a little bit. It's almost in drafting distance, has been able to close up. The rest of the field is becoming a bit of a hornet's nest, at least 6-7 seconds behind all of this, where it's been an absolute traffic jam. All of this as well, the question's going to be, will anybody else try and make some shuffles here, or will they just try and work there for a little bit for the next lap or so before things intensify to close up this run in this second pack?
Out of I-70, look at the swarm here in the shark fin further back. Massive battle group. Second, third, and fourth having just a pace-based run, trying to do everything they can to keep Weiland in their sights. He has this field absolutely covered today. Unreal qualifying effort, proving that was no fluke at all, and the battle may just end up being like this for the podium spots. Pettit now with a gap because of the pass there by Jackson Gibson. That was for, again, third over Helpfin, pushing him back. Vanchev still riding along there in the 5th spot. And then it's just a massive gaggle. 5 seconds, nearly 7 seconds actually further back from Vanchev. 6 onwards is a swarm of them all, maybe 15 deep. Look at this. Ashton Woon, Cole Medeiros, Tyrone Kemper Jr. now in the mix of it. Nico Kutowski is there. Juther Malaswamy. also there. Quite a few all battling.
Yeah, this train is absolutely massive at this point where think for a moment you end up potentially losing a spot. You have to be able to respond on the fly when a pack is this thick. This is even bigger than what we had at qualifying in some of those choo-choo trains we've seen there. Medeiros seems comfortable leading, but the thing is, Palacio has some good quarter exit speed right now to set stuff up. All of this as well behind them. Kemper Jr.'s done a great job. His best race of the weekend so far, pre-final or final. All of them trying to go middle of the racetrack to defend. Coming up to the final time around, Kemper Jr. tries high side, doesn't work for a moment.
Side by side there through 1 and 2. And now a little wide for Woon. Not quite able to hang on to that spot that he loses to Marco Samet. Just the massive gaggle continues. Alexander Vanchev continues trying to put the heat on there for second, third, and fourth. Weiland long and away out in front. And the fight will be for third, it looks like, as Pettit gets a gap and Gibson goes on defense mode from the two RPG juniors behind him. Halfin on the bumper. Here comes a big over-under setup attempt by Vanchev. Looks like he'll get maybe, no, not enough positioning on Halfin. He tucks back in.
Wasn't the greatest response for the shark fin. Just had to go back in line, and now he's lost his opportunity potentially. Oh, a bit of contact. Halfin, an early break. That time from the 724. Gibson instead gets passed by both Halfin and Vanchev. Vanchev trying to pass them both.
And all the while, Max Weiland scores the pre-final win. Second to Pettit. Fight for third in the line. A little wide for Gibson. He'll end up in the grass. And he gets back on to fifth. Further back, the big battle continues for sixth. Cole Medeiros had it last time by the line. What does the swarm look like here to the last turn? Is anyone going off? Yes. One way off. All the way into the grass. Down by turn 18. And I think it may have been, I'm not sure actually. Looked to be one of the Nash go-karts. And we're still waiting to see who was up there that dropped way down the order. Goodness, Lourenco Varela definitely lost it quite a bit from his starting spot. I think Nate Golseth is well involved in the last lap chaos. Back for P6. But RPG X30 Junior to a close. Max Weiland leads every lap of it all from start to finish. He's your winner in X30 Junior.
The finish line. Who is it going to be? It's Sean Perez who wins in Crescent.
Ty Fisher wins $1,000 in KA100 Junior.
Alex Stanfield played it perfectly here. Told him to wait. Stanfield wins the Duffy in 2024 for TV Kart.
Amarillo Kart Complex is now the official distributor for TV Kart in the continental U.S. Become a dealer today.
Champions aren't just born on the kart track. At SimShop, we deliver professional-grade simulators with the best performance-to-price ratio in the industry. Founded by racers who understand what you need, our SimMagic and Moza equipment is powerful enough for the pros, yet affordable for everyone. With unmatched customer support and a thriving community, we're your racing partner. Visit simshop.com today.
Let's go race.
Come on, man.
Florida Kart Racers, you asked for it and we're going to bring it.
Introducing Florida Karting Championship, FLKC, a brand new racing series coming to Florida in 2026.
Kart's back on the racetrack now for Speed Concepts Racing Mini Swift. An all Paralympic USA front row, just as it was with these two at the top of the board in yesterday's main event. Enzo De Janeiro on the inside, Maxwell Macha on the outside as we get set to let the 8 to 12-year-olds loose.
All these drivers getting sorted. Ashton Wyatt, Marcel Flores up there, Nachawani and Francisco Orioli, Gottschalk, Perriman, Johnson amongst your top 10. They're quickly going to the start zone.
Yeah, they're already there. We'll try to show you quickly where everyone stacks up in this 35 driver field. And just like that, it's time to go racing again. 7 laps on the board. Pre-final action. We're green. Oh, a couple around further back. 2 or 3 of the midfield spun in turn 18. Otherwise, good start for Enzo De Janeiro to Maxwell Macha as they lead the way through turn 3.
Teammates try and control things, all while some of the others try and snake around. Flores under attack already. That includes Nachawani able to slip on through. Now some contact. Flores pushed off the racetrack. Orioli forced to check up. Loses several spots as he goes 3 wide of the curbing. Oh, wow, the rest of the field up front starts to break away. Flores does hold on to the top 5, but it's an absolute mess of karts all lined up behind him, trying to sort things out quickly. Perriman now takes the move on the 124 also.
Lawrence Perriman there in the LN kart for the Brandon Jarzakrak Racing crew now with a big gap to try and close. But he's still got to deal with the likes of the 124 machine continuing to battle. Marcelo Flores, the young kid from Mexico, back and forth with Perriman. And then right behind Win Gottschalk. Then it's Jaden Francisco. There is your points leader as we take a look back at the contact in the replay. Orioli side by side with Flores. Everyone trying to find a gap. And it just, again, quickly bottles back down. We've seen that spot, the end of the double right horseshoe section, turns 5 and 6, be really a heavily debated section of who has to give, because there's enough rubber laid down and the groove is widened that if you really keep your foot on the gas on the outside, like right here with Flores, and don't get shuffled too far wide, you can stay on the inside for the next hairpin. And in this case, you saw in the middle of the corner, Gottschalk kind of opened the hands a little bit, force Marcelo to go a little wider, so he'd be clear by the end, but Cameron Johnson, with nowhere to go, following Gottschalk, got then shuffled back 2 spots as Flores got in line, and then Francisco picked the pair apart. He's now by Flores. Up front, Aston Wyatt to the inside on the Ryan Perry Motorsport Nitro kart, now splits up the duo. Maxwell Macha back on the inside, protecting the lead there for Enzo De Janeiro, protecting himself with a chance to continue to stay in the top 2 spots as Liam Nachawati gives the shove to Aston. These two work together, but in the main yesterday, they got together too late in the race, and the top 2 had already pushed away. The same 4 combatants from Saturday are once again our top 4 contenders here in the pre-final in Mini Swift with 2 down and 5 to go. The difference, of course, Jaden Francisco's a lot higher up on the grid today than he was yesterday in the pre-final, so hopefully he'll be able to get in there and make it 5, at least in the main, if not before the end of this race, and it might be before the end if we battle like this. New leader, Macha.
Macha nodding the head as he's able to make the swift move. Now it's the matter of urgency starting to pick up in this pack, this grouping. Not sure how much they're going to work together here without the shuffling we've seen so far here today. Gottschalk's done a great job, though, to be able to get back up to where they need to be. There's what I was talking about. A lot of moves, a lot of opportunities. De Janeiro shuffled all the way down to 3rd. Wyatt take the opportunity to take the poke and make the pass. All while Francisco is just content on pushing Gottschalk, and if they keep fighting like this, even with the big gap, they might be able to close up.
Side by side there, Cameron Johnson, wheel to wheel with what looks to be the 184 of Nathan Ramirez. Now Johnson to the wayside as he gets pushed into the dirt. Lucas Tarango with an over-under. Or no, that's actually the 137 of Colton Schniegenberg on the GWR Nitro Kart. He'll make a move to try and crack the top 10. And ahead of him, Orioli's caught up to Francisco and crew.
About to say, we didn't see Schniegenberg yesterday really at all in terms of the conversation today. Seems to have the speed to at least contend for the top 10 almost, to be able to have a good, solid effort for the final. Talked about his international experience, plenty of international dates on the schedule. All of this is why the lead group, they're fighting again. Macha having to go on the defensive yet again. The live points, De Gennaro still looking comfortable, even though he's getting shuffled back and forth here.
And again, those right now, as we take a look at the standings, are with the drop factored in, as both De Gennaro and Francisco currently run. Now that is a bit off though, because, well, actually no. Looking through the standings, yeah, just a bit off because of the live points as they run. With the drop factored in, that's factoring today. We'll have to get that sorted to make sure you can see where the drops look like with tomorrow, but we got problems to focus on. Marcelo Flores, the backward slide continues now as he hits the dogleg kink there coming out of the green corner. Loses out, he'll get back going, tail end of the field. This time by, 4 down, 3 to go. Macha, your leader, back to Nachawati, back to De Gennaro.
Right now, Nachawati looking very fast yet again in terms of his speed, being able to go back and forth, back and forth. He's been very precise on his passes in this weekend. Perriman looking to try and use some teamwork like a basketball team to close Wyatt back up into this conversation. It's going to take a lot of gamesmanship and maybe some three-pointers to be able to close up this gap a little bit efficiently here for Perriman.
Oh, side by side. Enzo De Gennaro down the inside. Oh, with Macha to the high side. Nachawati, your new leader. First time of the pre-final. He spun on the outlap here today. This was not exactly the good headspace start for Liam with a little bit of a spin cycle move, but it has not hurt him at all. He's still hanging on to the lead as they swarm the lead pack now. Gottschalk, Wyatt, Perriman. Here comes Francisco and Lucas Tarango, and as well, Santi Orioli.
What did I say? If they keep on fighting, that would allow everybody to close up. Guess what? They're all here. It's going to be interesting where this is going to fare out with 2 laps to go. Already trying to white line to the middle of the racetrack. Now, there goes Macha, able to peel his way to the inside. Nachawati loses 3, 4, 5 spots as he gets pushed off the racetrack.
Liam Nachawati now way back. Just fought his way to the lead. He probably didn't even realize how big the pack had gotten. 2 laps to go. Macha under pressure as De Gennaro tries to cover low as well. And here comes Aston Wyatt. But before that, Perriman. And Gottschalk sideways for Perriman. Big save there in the middle of the right-handers. Jaden Francisco trying to just keep his nose clean. He's got to manage this one and find a way still to get up to the points leader, Enzo De Gennaro. Liam Nachawati right behind him, looking for a way past. He'll get shuffled actually back by Orioli here in turn 12.
Good pass by Orioli to take advantage quickly, but now has to work fast because there's defensive maneuvers back. Contact, Nachawati pushes Orioli off the gas. They are getting very chippy, you see on the replay. That was a bold move by Macha, taking it very tight, but Nachawati was just pushed off to the side, put the right side tires into the grass, especially the rear tire, forces him to lift, drops him all the way to the tail end of the lead pack as we're coming up to the white flag this time by with a lot of battling still up for grabs here.
1 lap to go now here in Mini Swift. Look at this move for Gottschalk. This is for 4th on Perriman. He'll get by. Francisco trying to follow on the outside. Is going to run out of real estate. Lawrence will hang on to that spot up front. 3-way battle. Aston Wyatt's going to be outnumbered as Francisco continues to go at it. And now Enzo De Gennaro takes over second with a move down the inside in turn 5.
Going to need a macho run to be able to close up. Take a phrase out of Macho's handbook to be able to close up for De Gennaro. But he's been very good to be able to handle all the punches that have built up on the back and forth, back and forth, back and forth here today. Oh, some near contact. Wyatt trying to push around De Gennaro, trying to make some moves there. Stay single file as they work their way to the shark fin. But DeGennaro's still going to have to hold back the draft of Wyatt pretty quickly. Wyatt wants that second spot. He wants a chance to start the outside front row later on today in the final.
Looking to the inside, Schneegenberg continues to dig forward. 17th on the grid for Colton. Going to be a top 10 run. Where in that? We'll have to wait and see. Aston Wyatt's going to get a little toe around the outside of DeGennaro from Macha. He'll get second, and Maxwell Macha wins the pre-final in mini. Win Gottschalk able to hang on to fourth there. Jaden Francisco eventually wins out in that battle with Lawrence Perriman for fifth. Colton Schneegenberg sixth. And the points tally for Enzo DeGennaro to Jaden Francisco continues to stay nice and close with drops factored into the title. But still, the nod goes the way of Enzo DeGennaro. He's had a great weekend to this point, and he's now scoring some solid championship points here in this pre-final. So can he roll that momentum into a good main and outpunch the drop that he has versus Francisco's to make up that 25 marker gap? That drop, again, factored in only on the first rounds of the season. We'll have to wait until the main event does run for us to see what it would look like with all six and your best five of those counting to the title. Final run through the top 10 beyond Schneegenberg. Nachawati fades to 8th, Orioli, and then Cameron Johnson. And then here is with the adjusted drops if they dropped one of their first 5 rounds of the championship. DeGennaro over Jaden Francisco, Win Gottschalk, Maxwell Macha, Aston Wyatt. Now the results from that previous session unaffected because, again, we don't know where they'll end up in the mains. So we'll have to wait to see. Actually, well, they are affected, but assuming today would not be their drop. I should correct myself. So those points tallied up. That's how it changes. Here's a look at the Pro X30 grid, and we'll have a lot to keep up with the drops factored for this one as well. Best 5 of 6. Ryan Norberg's pretty certain what should be and hopefully will be his drop from yesterday. Cleaned out, first turn, first lap, nothing he could do. And he drove through with a valiant effort in the main to salvage the day. But he'd been so good in the first 4 rounds of the season, he could afford a mulligan. And he just needed one more good round. This is shot number 2, 36 points ahead of Austin Garrison, who will start further back in the grid. But they are all chasing the Brazilian, who was crowned KA Senior Champion just earlier on in the weekend, yesterday afternoon, with a flawless performance in KA 100 Senior. Diego Ramos is unfortunately, after the way the season's played out, ineligible and out of contention for the Pro X30 Championship. But that doesn't mean that he can't improve his positioning inside that top 10 and score a little bit of extra prizes with a win today. It'd be his first in the Pro X30 ranks for PSL Karting. He's won in about every other competition they've stuck him in. 100cc with KA Senior, Rotax Senior, Rock Senior. Well, the Pro X30 class is something else this weekend, especially when you look at the names down the grid and going back even just to row 2 with the speed Alan Isambard has shown. And now a Pro X30 race winner and a wily veteran in Paulie Massimino back on row 2. Frankie Mossman and Gus Lawrence on row 3 and on down. And while we show you the lineup, let's go to Caleb for a last bit of intel before our last pre-final of the 2025 season.
Thank you, Xander. Spoke to a couple of drivers, Alan Isambard and Austin Garrison in particular. Big improvement for Isambard. They threw the kitchen sink at the kart overnight. It worked in qualifying. And in contrast, Austin Garrison, right, we're seeing him starting 8th. He says they believe maybe lost a little bit of power after yesterday's main event from what they saw in the warm-up. So we'll see how Austin Garrison gets along, and we'll see how Alan Isambard rolls off from 3rd.
Good points from both. Alan Isambard, we haven't spoken on much yet this weekend. He has been there and hunting towards the front of the field, but we never really got much of a read of what everybody looked like in the standard conditions with that gnarly pre-final from yesterday. And that set up a mixed bag of a starting lineup on Sunday where some drivers like Chase Hand, taking advantage of the conditions, were able to hang and stay towards the front. Others were able to charge to the field like the number 6. He'll need to run like that today as they form in the lines. CRG, Pro X30, getting set for action. 8 laps for the pre-final from Newcastle. We're green.
Good start.
Oh, a little wide. I thought good start too, Justin. Jesus Vasquez Jr. pushed off right as we jinxed it there in turn at number 2, and more off further back. One driver way off the hill over at turn 3. But look at Frankie Mossman already up ahead at Norberg. He falls back to 4th. Then it's going to be Aiden Ingrata, who's got Massimino bearing down. Gus Lawrence, Donovan Bonilla, Vasquez Jr. going wide. Really hurt the outside lane. Ruben Moya moving up. Lloyd up is, that's the Velocity Sodia ZCD moving forward. And all the way down to the infield now at turn number 12. Big wide arc here for Moya. Nowhere to go with it, though, as they stay behind the number 1.
Yeah, so far so decent. I wouldn't say great start based on the commentator's curse, but now it's the matter of seeing now where will things play out for a lot of these drivers. Massimino taking a send up the inside. Garrison, meanwhile, just trying to get some power down into that Kart to close up some of these gaps. Up front, Ramos, Isambard, amongst those in control with Mossman in the top 3. Choo-choo train behind Norberg, who's doing a decent job, but under attack again. Massimino after a slide by Norberg's tires.
Yeah, good heads-up play there for Paulie Massimino. Ryan Norberg has typically been some of the best, or one of the best, if not the best, the benchmark in cold tire conditions, first lap conditions, as now passes happen both for second and on Norberg back there again as more go by all the way back to Moya. He's going to get dumped down to the back of the top 10. And fast Frankie Mossman looks good early, up to P2 ahead of Ingrata. Here's Gus Lawrence now with a move. Ruben Moya following him through the field as Lawrence covers off in 12. And the pack now stacks up. Norberg backing into ZCD. Then Chase Gassie at Lee on the charge. Norberg trying to make something there in the infield. He'll get the move on the shark fin with Ingrata, but bogged it down too much, and DeMello gets them both.
A lot of shuffling amongst these drivers right now, and I'm in particularly interested to see where Norberg's going to shuffle in this pack by the time things settle on down. Seems to be right now in a line working together. He's really loose off the rear end right now. Has been sliding those rears a lot in these sharp 90-degree turns. And Grata, no place to send it, but there is a send right on behind by Nash. Amongst those, able to move on forward as the rest of the field stays calm.
Paulie Massimino already up to 3rd now and digging. Fastest car on the racetrack there last time by a lot. Norberg still, again, vulnerable like you said. He was sliding the back a little in the first couple laps, waiting for the tires to come in, hoping they would come in, and then getting pushed into the dirtier parts of the circuit. Here's a look at how they run right now. With Norberg still ahead of Garrison, the gap would open up going into the main. Austin Garrison, as bad as Norberg's start may be looking now from that front row position, is still surrendering points to him, not having the best himself. As Frankie Mossman brings the fight back to Paulie Massimino and continues to allow Diego Ramos to pull away up front. It's now Isambard versus Massimino. He'll hang on there with the momentum off the high side and the toe off of Mossman, who's just going to park it down low, and I'm not sure where this extra aggression for second's coming from. But the two drivers in a partial schedule on the weekend, Frankie Mossman on a one-off, Isambard making his debut at Cincinnati. Moya looking on Isambard back there, turn 3, that was wild, as Diego Ramos' lead is now up over 3 seconds.
Yeah, he's just on a Sunday drive right now as Mossman just trying to defend all this. Well, guess who's moving? It's Gus Lawrence. The thing is, Moya is also moving. Moya starting from 10th, already up into the top 5. Zachary Quim and DeMello is also moving in this pack, who started in 15th spot. A lot of big movers as they're all attacking Isambard.
Aiden Ingrata tried to make some happen there on ZCD, as now Massimino again has to go on Frankie Mossman. Paulie Massimino, unfortunately, with Mossman and Isambard both aggressively battling, and now Isambard ending up paying the price for the two of them, getting booted back to the battles here at the edge of the top 10. Have given up this race really to Diego Ramos. Austin Garrison is just trying to find any gap he can to start to make up ground and get closer to Norberg. That was a nice move to get one spot at the end of the lap here. And we'll now see, we're at the halfway mark already, and still the number 6 is buried. P12 across the line. Norberg up the road in 6th, doing what he needs to do to lengthen the championship gap.
Yeah, Garrison just seems to be stuck in quicksand right now in terms of that lineup with how things are going. Moya in this pack has been terrific in terms of his passes, though. Be able to swiftly make moves, be able to take advantage of some of the drivers to be able to move up through this order. Just needs to be able to focus down and close up. Norberg able to pass by his teammate in Lawrence for this one. Able to slip his way back into the top 5. Norberg is doing perfectly here, even though he's not in the front in the lead pack per se, up for the race lead. He's still doing, as you said, exactly what he needs to do to score points. Get a consistent finish. Consistency is a part of what wins championships.
Austin Garrison all over the heels of Vasquez Jr. I thought he went off. It may not have been him. It might have been a different GFC driver, but either way, a good save for him. Let's take a look here at some of the moments from earlier. This was the move for Moya, catching Isambard by surprise. Lawrence able to get the better of the two of them. And for Vasquez Jr., it was already an uphill battle from the way the start was. We're getting reports he may be off the track over at turn number 3 or pushed off recently. So as we check back in with what's gone on, no, it was indeed over at turn 2. Normally turn 3 as we know it from the original start-finish line, with the finish line further down the racetrack now, calling it turn 2 per the SKUSA map, as Norberg makes the move on Moya. And that'll be another one. Taking his time, not worrying if he was going to get pushed back in the early couple laps. The kart's starting to come to life, as is he. He's still got second and third in his sights with Ramos 3 seconds up the road. Massimino and Mossman are still well within reach for Flying Ryan. Coming to 2 to go as we got a problem. Donovan Mania around in turn 12. That's a driver on the bubble of the Leaders Circle Fund. And now on the outside looking in by 32 as of last time. This will hurt as we go back to the finish line straight here. 2 to go.
Yeah, right now, Gus Lawrence just riding off in watching Moya in this choo-choo train that's formed on up. Not much you can do except settle on down that cut line for that winner's circle. Has Bonilla now below Vasquez Jr. still. 32 points the estimate. Chase Hand now with the update with Bonilla across the line. Sees him move up to the first below. Bonilla is dropping and bleeding stunts as he continues to go down and down. It's now a GFC traffic jam for 10th.
Yeah, and there's still more drivers just above Vasquez Jr. that those 3 could dethrone to steal some more of those spots for next year. The battle is on here for 3rd. Mossman knows he's just got to try and run this one out. The white flag's going to be headed his way this time, but he's got the reigning series champ, Mr. 10-time himself, looking for number 11 today. Ryan Norberg on his heels. And Ruben Moya, who, as you mentioned, has been moving. Gus Lawrence the same. Those two have been kind of neck and neck through the whole race. And Mossman all the way to the low side. Norberg going to try and go to the high side. Power around him. Look for a crossover there. Not happening. And Frankie's going to continue to back him up now to try and secure that inside lane row 2 starting spot. That's highly coveted considering how good it's been most of these starts. And now Ruben Moya is going to catch the champ off guard with a nose down low. He'll steal 4th away. Lawrence still watching along back for from 6th. Here comes DeMello and Blake Nash and Alan Isambard back to try and play spoiler as well.
Not sure if they're going to be able to make up all the spots they're dreaming in their minds right now, but Isambard at the very least is going to try and fight out with Nash. Nash getting the elbows out, able to hold on there. Oh, this is while Mossman just trying to hold on for dear life for this podium. The gap is shrinking down to a kart length between 3rd and 4th spot. Moya looks to pounce.
And again, Ruben Moya was able to go to the wider arc in 12 and help get a run off. Norberg's going to try to maybe help him here or look to take advantage into I-70. Norberg's going to shove it down the inside. He'll pop the curb, bog it down. Moya's going to have a run. Lawrence will push. All the while, Diego Ramos will score the pre-final win in dominant fashion. Massimino 2nd, and the fight's on for 3rd. Who's going to get it to the line? Mossman by a nose.
Razor thin margins, but Mossman able to hold on as things started to collapse at the end of the run for the 84 machine. Norberg gets a finish that he needed. A top 5. Garrison did recover to 9th at least, but it's still a loss to Norberg in the standings.
Diego Ramos, 3.1 seconds up and over Paulie Massimino. Austin Garrison is able to claw his way to 9th, but with such a high drop, He'll need a top 3 run to outpunch that here in today's main and continue to try to make up markers on Norberg, who finishes in 5th and watches the gap open just a bit.
I blocked you 1 corner, Paulie, and then you went in.
You said what?
I blocked you for 1 corner.
I know, but then you stuffed me right back when there was 3 of us. I understand. You never give me a chance to be in front of you. I'm just saying. No, I understand. I'm just saying. We had a gap. That's all.
I saw Alan behind me, and he was going to fuck me over.
But even still, if you fell behind him, there was like a 2-second gap, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I was just not that very much.
That's all I'm saying. It's like, you wouldn't have had to block any of that. You know what I mean?
I get it. I was just so sick stuff.
No, you're good. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Again, Frankie Mossman, Paulie Massimino kind of playing that one back, and that was similar to what we watched, but, you know, it's different from the driver's seat, obviously, of what you see versus what we get to see from the bird's eye view and all the great camera operators and production crew that we've got around the property. Paulie saying, man, if you didn't need to, if you would have given a second for me to try to lead us forward a little better, we might have still been okay, even if you went to 4th, but the back and forth allowed everyone else to get close. And here's how close the points look now, all unofficial, and banking on Norberg and Garrison both out-punching their lowest score of the first 5 rounds, the same all the way down the top 10, assuming everyone will do a little better today. Diego Ramos, no doubt, 100-point pre-final, 10-point bonus. He's already looking solid with the pole for the main, hunting for that first major SKUSA Pro Tour win in X30 Pro. Massimino able to leapfrog over Blake Nash for 3rd in the standings. That's a big swing in the prize funds. And then, of course, Austin Garrison loses about 14 points over that session to Ryan Norberg. But again, this is assuming that Garrison doesn't have to lean on the drop. Had this championship not had drop rounds and you counted all 5 rounds fully to this point, the consistency of Austin Garrison compared to the bad luck that Norberg experienced at round 5 would have a 78-point lead for AG6 going into the main. But it's the best 5 of 6. Everyone plays by the same rules and knows it going in, and that giving you the opportunity to have one bad day has the number 1 plate still on top by 50 points. And again, too, here's a look at what the cut line points would look like if we did have drops or not. Let me check here to be sure if this is factoring in. But with the cut line standings for your Pro X30 class, this is pre-drops here. It would put Jake Drew on 827 markers overall. 68 points above it, Caden McQueen, Aiden Ingrata, and Gus Lawrence even missing out on rounds 1 and 2. He would be above it, but he's ineligible for that Circle of Champions fund. Vasquez Jr. would be 1 point out, and Bonilla out. However, with the drops factored into those cut line standings, different story. Again, if you factor in that today would not be their drop day, it's McQueen inside the top 10, Ingrata inside the top 10, Moya there, Drew on the outside, and after that session, provisionally 37 points out in 12th. Let's go down to pit lane from Caleb.
Dan, you're standing by here with Frankie Mossman. First of all, I want to talk about your weekend as a whole before we get into that heat race, but I mean, today's been crazy. You missed a warm-up session, right? You were too busy coaching the KA senior guys. You get out there, do half a lap, get nothing. Qualifying goes your way in that heat race as well. Just talk about your weekend here, Frankie, on your return with SCR.
Yeah, you know, like out of the gate, we've been really quick right as I got comfortable with the kart. Today, as you said, it's been pretty hectic. I missed the warm-up session, and it was something stupid on my own. So we went into qualifying a little blind with a little different setup than what we ended up with yesterday. But obviously, like, you know, it paid off for our qualifying. I think the pre-main we missed a little bit, and so we're just going to get to work right before the final, and then hopefully we can go and challenge for the win.
Obviously, we heard you and Paulie kind of discussing that race, you know, and we see how hard it is to how important I would say for you guys to kind of work together, right? Not let guys like Diego get away, right?
No, 100%. I got a little scrappish after, you know, I just couldn't find my pace, couldn't get my groove together, and sometimes you can wish you do some things different, and I obviously, like, I want to go win. I owe him an apology, honestly, but it's a pre-main, so I'll learn my lesson for the final, and hopefully Ryan and them don't get by me too quick.
Wish you the best of luck, Frankie.
Yeah, thank you.
So Frankie Mossman will start unofficially third for the main. 30 minutes on the clock here for the lunch break for the hardworking crew. A little overcast skies, which, again, are welcomed only because it's been a hot one, as per usual, with the Summer Nationals here in the Midwest. But what will that mean for the mains? We'll have to wait and see. We'll bring you more coverage towards the top of the hour with Pro Shifter getting ready to kick things off for the final main events of the 2025 SKUSA Pro Tour.